Welcome to Flesh and Pod, a flesh and blood podcast, breaking down weekly news and notes from the tournament scene, community drama, game strategy, and more. And now, here are your hosts, Darick and Logan.
Hello, and welcome to, what is this, episode 161 of Flesh and Pod. My name is Logan. I'm your host. Let's just get to the elephant in the room right away. Due to irreconcilable differences, Darick and I will be continuing this podcast. With me, as always, is my host, Darick Oswald. Joining us today are the denizens of After Dark, Brynn from the Banished Zone, and the Drakai of Sound himself, the velvety one, the panty dropper, I
thought you were introducing Greg. It's okay. I did drop my panties on the way to the recording, so I'm embarrassed now. But
they're all
just
sitting in the hallway.
Well, he has enough sense to wring them out in the sink. But
first,
welcome you two to your first. Well, Greg's been on the show before. But this is a first for Brynn, at least.
Hi.
She's normally on our After Darks being a complete degen there. Instead,
yeah,
we're just going to degen off here.
They keep me in the cage.
There's a fucking reason for that. You know that, right?
No.
One, you asked to be in the cage. And
come on, man. We don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be on a palindromic episode and out of the cage.
Oh, that's fair, I guess. How y'all doing?
Good. It was just Christmas, and I love Christmas. It's one of my best, one of the top 3 holidays, I think.
Hold up. You're a Christmas person?
I love Christmas.
Well, she's certainly not an Easter person.
I went and saw Muppets Christmas Carol in theaters this morning.
Oh, wow.
And it was beautiful.
That's cute.
Yeah, I like Halloween and April Fool's maybe a little better, but Christmas is great.
Of course you do. But because things that have always surprised, things that have surprised me about you, now, you being homeschooled has not surprised me. But your love of Christian ska might be the one thing that broke me for a solid week.
Five Iron Frenzy goes hard.
Yeah, knowing who Five Iron Frenzy is enough for me to go, okay.
I was raised in the church. I know that stuff. I like it.
You do love MXPX as well, so
big
there's
time.
That.
Not ska.
They're not ska, but they are shitty. No, they're trash.
No, they're good.
No, absolutely not. They
better
are
than Green Day.
Well, no, they're not. But they are sub Lagwagon. That's where I would put MXPX.
Oh my god, so rude to MXPX.
At least they're not Stellar Cart. Come on.
Ooh,
I don't even know what that is.
Real bad.
I'm really dipping into the Christian rock band.
You're not from the Midwest, so I understand.
It's true.
But at any rate, as you could probably tell already, 3 minutes into this episode, we are just gloves off going at it this week because fuck it, we ball.
We ball.
That is right. And it's the new year. It's a happy new year to everybody out there. Hopefully 25 doesn't suck.
It'll be good.
We've had a hell of a 24 for sure. And for some reason on our recording days is just weird shit day. So we had Saint and Riddler Man last week. And that was fine. What the fuck is this? And
I like when something happens in the Flesh and Blood community where I can be a huge bitch publicly and people all like it. That's great.
All right. And then this morning we get an announcement that the Manor cast has now ended and has shuttered their doors after 115 episodes. So pretty long run.
Extremely rare.
And that was and that was kind of a big surprise to a lot of people. And obviously I wish them well. We are not the same in any way, shape, or form as far as the shows we do. They are not us, and probably for their betterment. But
to be fair, I learned some cool tech from this show. I learned you could name that new ninja card Crazy Brew and play Life of the Party. That's a cool tech that I wouldn't have learned. I literally haven't heard anyone else say that. in all of the whole scene.
Yeah, I learned you can do crazy shit with eloquence tokens, and that was kind of cool. We've also been wrong on how the rules work like 700 times.
Usually,
so there's that too. Well, you know, you got to be good at something. Darick, you haven't said a word yet, and I want to make sure that this is out there for everybody that's audio only. Darick is currently wearing a robe, and his only reason to wear this robe is to see if he can cause a zipper burn on me and Gregory. And he is really accomplishing the goal. So if you're audio only, you may want to get out on YouTube because it's a treat.
Don't forget to like and subscribe while you're there.
That too. Well, really, honestly. But we're still like sub 500 for some fucking reason. And I'm just like, I know I'm bad at this. I get it.
You gotta like and subscribe.
I'm truly bad at this.
Simply have to.
But you would think that. What do you mean you simply have to?
I have decided. First of all, this is not the first time I've spoken because I did correct you when you were introducing Greg, but we're describing me. I've also decided, however, that we need to do more advertising in 2025.
Okay.
Like you and I are historically very bad at promoting ourselves. We are very open about the fact that we are very bad at it. But I also think that we're just going to do some engagement farming, some rage baiting. So
I like this.
This robe is actually because I am not well. I'm recovering from being ill. I came down with the woke mind virus, but now I'm doing much better. And this is the show where I can finally share my feelings about how I think about all of the things. And turns out
you're a playboy. You identify as a playboy fuckboy.
He's a motherfucking star boy. I don't know what you're talking about.
God.
He's a pimp. He's a motherfucking PIMP.
Brynn's already going gangster, and it's not even 10 minutes in, so we're fucked on this one. But
$1 out of me.
I already started because I bought 20 blank deck boxes off of Pirate Labs because they're going out of business at like $4 a box. And so like I have these blank deck boxes that I can put stuff on.
Cool.
And so I'm going to do that and probably never give them away because I'll forget that they exist. But it's at least something I had an idea for. I mean, the follow through is probably going to be shitty, but I thought about it at least. And
like for Patreons, you'll put you'll get them laser engraved or something.
Yeah, maybe, or just make some decals, or maybe have like Ejor paint some. I don't know, like do something.
I was gonna say, I mean, if you want to get a decal, it's like Ejor has already provided you with some amazing art you could stick on there.
He has, because it's Ejor. And we finally put that out in the public, so it's people know about the pirate me and the assassin you now, and it's been a fucking hell of a year. Like, let's just start from there because it's been a challenge in a lot of spots to just kind of decide in spots. Are we who we say we are, or are we fucking cowards? And I think at every point in time, we've just decided that we're not cowards and we will say exactly what we think and we don't give a fuck.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, we are not company line people by any stretch of the imagination. I think that that's also pretty evident. And yet,
well, yes and no. So like, I sometimes get upset when we say things like that, because the reality is, we are not company line people or cowards or whatever for this show and for our, experiences when we are interacting with, say, like the rest of the Flesh and Blood community, because we like to be our authentic selves. But we have, grown up jobs, believe it or not. I know this is really hard, especially if you've been listening for more than 30 minutes of our content. Because it does not take long to come to the realization that we are actively harming ourselves.
That's you.
Logan and I have big boy jobs with like real responsibilities. We know how to be professional. I have worked in several, professional settings. I have, worked in leadership, worked as a, professor. all of those things. I obviously am, endeavoring to be professional anytime I'm on a broadcast, etc. So we are capable of it. It's just that when we're here, why?
There's no
Like,
point to that.
why would we want to? Because this is we do this for us, and I don't want to do all of those things. I want to talk about everything that's wrong with going woke and then going broke. Like I think that is.
Oh my
Well,
god!
I think the main thing that's wrong with going woke and then going broke is doing it. You don't want to do either of them.
So, fun fact: I was broke, and then I went woke, and somehow I'm not broke anymore.
Oh,
so like when I was at my brokest, when I was living in trailer parks, when I was homeless several times throughout my childhood, that was also the same period of time when my brother's best friend was a neo-Nazi with swastika tattoos, right? So like I went from I grew up in a very conservative, right-wing family. And then as I, went to college and I moved out and I started, actually meeting people, and I was like, oh yeah, they're all full of shit. It turns out going to college and getting away from, a family full of, addicts and everything else, meant I was a lot less broke as well. So I went woke and then became not broke.
So what I'm hearing you say is you pulled yourself up by your bootstraps.
That's so true.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Absolutely.
Your jack bootstraps.
Even with me facing all of the hurdles and adversity that life throws at me as a straight white male, I have had no easy, gimmies, no layups. I had to work hard. It was all me. No luck involved. No.
Listen,
born
Charmer,
on second base situation.
The Lord gives his toughest challenges to his strongest soldiers.
That's true.
Yeah.
We can't publish this. Like, I don't fucking know. God damn it. I mean, we're clearly going to. But
listen, I've been told by my wife, maybe this is a good time. I've been told by my wife that for people who don't know me, when I say things, they don't
know that you're lying.
Say like sometimes the things that I say doesn't come across the way that it sounds in my head. In other words, she tells me that people have a hard time knowing when I'm joking, because to me there is no. So let me just start by saying this is a bit, okay?
Thanks.
Oh, you're starting with it. Got it.
You have to understand, for me,
this entire show for 3 fucking years has been a bit. Like, you don't have to
100%.
announce it.
No, I do though. I do, because I have not, I think went this hard on a show that was not After Dark. And this is, listen, if you're enjoying the show so far, first of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, you can get a lot more of stuff like this if you join our After Dark sessions.
It gets worse.
But I was going to say that to me, there is no better comedy, no better sense of humor than like Absurdist, right? And
Sure. Jonathan Swift was amazing.
Yeah, so like good absurdist humor starts with a contextual understanding though, right? And so for me, the funny part is like, if you know me, you know that I am not one to be like, say, braggadocious, for example. However, I can with a straight face say some wild things about myself. And to me, that is the joke, right? It's the idea of me saying with a straight face something that is blatantly against who I am. And so when I say things like, I've been infected with the woke mind virus, and I'm saying it in a serious tone. See, like, Brynn is laughing. And in my head,
I can't keep a straight face.
I am cackling.
You're just too good at being the straight face.
If this is your first time tuning in, I need you to understand that I will say a lot of things deadpan, and I probably mean none of them.
Yeah, well, see, the problem, Darick, is that you're dead inside. So everything you say is deadpan. So there's no other pan in your kitchen. It's just that one. You're cooking everything in the same pan.
I think what Darick was saying before is that, like, I have had jobs that are in offices, and I can I can keep it together for a little while.
It's not possible.
I don't think Office Max counts.
Possible. But it's about getting people to trust you and being respectful of what other people's boundaries are in the scenario. Where like Darick can go on a camera and keep anything that would make people uncomfortable inside because they don't trust him like that. They trust him to say about cards and the games and stuff like that. But when you're on a show, people want to hear your real opinion. People want to have fun, and people want to know that you're authentic. And we're very, very good at being authentic.
That's really all we are. Yeah. Like if we're good at that's like the
Mostly
one thing we're good at. Yeah, it's the one thing we're good at.
It's just exhausting.
One minor correction though.
Correct me.
Nobody wants to hear my actual opinion. And I know this because I've given it out several times.
I always do. Are you fist fucking me right now?
And then it's just ignored, right?
Well, I'm not saying I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna hear it though.
I want to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we have to do what you say.
Yeah, I love you and respect you and don't give a fuck about what you say. They're two very different things.
They're not the same thing. Yeah. But so if you're listening and going, is this an episode of FleshandPod? Yeah, we're just starting off the rails with really no guide whatsoever to what we're doing, because there's no news really, no events. It's just it's one of those weeks where we easily just could have not recorded an episode, but we have this problem.
Logan has a problem in his brain.
Well, many problems, but one of the more glaring tumors is the inability to not record a podcast.
So I have a thing where like one of my like triggers or whatever you want to call them, like my mental like fuck ups is
whoopsie daisy.
I get very upset with myself if I disappoint people, which I do routinely. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
My wife's right over there, but and I keep viewing it as if I don't record an episode, I'm disappointing somebody. It's why I'm also never late. Like if you know anything about me, I am super punctual because I feel like I'm wasting people's time if I'm late, and that's going to disappoint. But also several times in my life where I've been at my bleakest and my darkest moments, the fact that knowing that it would disappoint somebody if I were dead has kept me alive.
That's a good defense mechanism.
Not the worst defense mechanism, to be fair. And but at the same time, it's why I do unhealthy things like record this fucking show for 160 weeks, 1 week straight, rather than taking a break, and because like I'm going to bring like a mic and a laptop to Prague so that Darick and I can record an episode in Prague. Unless Mansant gets back to me and lets me know if we can use his equipment that he's using for the stream, at which point we'll just do that.
Oh, God.
That depends, because he might not want to mobilize it, and it will depend.
No, we'll do it from the venue.
Right.
Well, so that's just it. Whenever it is that you're planning on recording, it'll depend. What I did for Flesh and Blood this week, obviously did not play because of the holidays and so forth. But
you never play anyway.
I played on the Monday before Christmas.
I played last night.
Found a tattoo studio that I have
the one in Prague.
I found one specifically like with work that I enjoy and whatever, and so I've reached out to them, and so if I can schedule some time while I'm there,
hell yeah.
Are you going to finally finish your anti-woke sleeve?
No. That one I need to finish up some other time. It's funny you say that because I have some Norse
Darick has
symbols.
a lot of pride.
Well, no, I have some Norse symbols on my arm, and obviously,
because of your stances
and your heritage.
Well, right. There is.
We'll talk about the hunted later.
There is an active attempt by alt-right and neo-Nazi groups to kind of co-opt Norse symbolism.
Oh yeah, right.
And I got my tattoos knowing full well that was the case, simply because I don't think that we should cede ground to them. Like the idea of every time they start doing something and then we go, well, we can't do that because of X, Y, or Z, means then you're just forever giving up ground.
I mean,
and
the tiki torch industry would be underwater.
Historical things and continue to ruin them, right? Like they got the swastika. I'm not going to compete for that. Like,
I don't think you should. I think you're out on that one.
Well, you win that one. But I'll be damned if I'm going to let them take anything else from us.
All of Asia disagrees. They're just like, no, that's still ours. You can't, but we can't.
Right.
We
I'm just saying, like there are some things where I'm like, that's not not my battle to fight necessarily. But I have Norse symbolism, and I do sometimes catch people, especially like my Helm of Awe tattoo is like got red and black, and it's kind of it jumps out, and so when people see it, I do get the side eye sometimes.
Wait, which is that one?
Like I'm depending on how much time I can schedule, and how large the piece can be, I'm really leaning toward getting some sort of Arachne tattoo to commemorate the event. So
like back knee, but Arachne. So Barachne.
Well, I would get out in my left arm, and I've got like varying degrees of what I want depending on how much time I can book with them. Right? If it's only something small, then I'll probably just get like the mask, right? Because that's a very easy way, but that's still symbolic, and it's a really badass mask. If they can do more, then I would like a larger like upper arm piece that's, like Arachne huntsman art style. And if I can book them for like a good session and I can even get like a half sleeve or something, then I would love to see what they could potentially do with like all the different variations of Arachne we have. But one way or the other, just to commemorate like the event, I think that's what I want to do. So I'm just waiting to hear back on availability.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it sounds great. I don't hate it at all. But I guess we could talk about the Hunted a little bit if y'all want to do that. I'm
excited.
We now know all of the forms of Arachne. There's Black Widow, which is 1. So if you roll a 1, you get the discard an assassin card. Target assassin attack gets +3. If it has stealth, it hits a hero. They banish a card from their hand, which is a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing to me that like if you do assign your D6 to each of the numbers for the forms, which I think is what most people will do, it's like the first time in history you want to roll a 1.
Right.
I legitimately think Black Widow is the strongest of the bunch.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of good ones in here that we'll get to, but just the power and the fear that I think that this one brings is so huge that, man, I want those ones.
$5 says that was deliberate. Like Brian was like in his web at LSS Studios thinking about all of this and was like,
do you think
they're going to use dice? Oh, 100%. Like his office, I'm sure. That's why he's always in, whenever he records a podcast, he's not in his own office. He's in like the community talk on a podcast space. I bet his office is just some sort of absolute spider's lair.
This is a wild headcanon, but okay, go ahead.
So that's, I mean, I know I'm talking out of school a little bit here, but it's a fact. I just know. You can tell by the amount of stubble that Brian has on their face that that's the way it is. But I'm certain that they were just like, yeah, it's going to be, what if we made it where what you would normally perceive as a bad roll is the best roll, right?
I bet also, good theory, but I bet also
thanks,
there's enough cards that say like if someone rolls a 6, something good happens, that maybe that they didn't want to break your gambler's gloves, or maybe you wouldn't you break gambler's gloves if you have to roll it for that one, right?
Yeah, I think that's why like we haven't explicitly seen, hey, roll a D6.
You have to roll a D6 as not anything.
Yeah, that's not written anywhere. It'd be wild if it was because
right.
Because then gambler's glove would impact it. Yeah.
Yeah. It just says you choose randomly. It just so happens that a D6 is the cleanest way to do it, but it does not specifically say to roll a die.
No, there's
Scabskins.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's true.
We're just saying Arachne. So you can't gambler's gloves to hit the spider version that you want.
Because you're not actually rolling a die in the game.
Gods above and below bless Josh Scott, who had to think about the fucking legal way to hopscotch around that.
I cannot wait for him to show up next time because this is going to be so fucked.
But do you think that they'll have cards in the set that are 6-sided die coded?
No.
No?
They might, but let me just say this. I love that for this particular thing, power assertions aside, flavor-wise, it's a win that you can't modify or control the outcome because it's supposed to be chaotic.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, what is the whole point of having a chaos talent and becoming an agent of chaos if I can like change the outcomes? Just embrace it.
Yeah. I do think there will be cards that we'll see in the Hunted that say become a random agent of chaos. I could see that being tagged onto a Majestic or some sort of specialization that Arachne gets in this set, because I think that would also be wild.
You know, something that was like an attack reactor or whatever that says if this hits, become a agent of chaos or transform into a random one or whatever, just on the off chance, because all of the forms, right? Demi-heroes, I guess that's the right way to call it. All of the demi-hero versions of this do have a once per turn attack reaction, but if you connect with the first one and then you also do some sort of on hit where you flip, you could use the second one. So like that could be something potentially on the table.
Gross.
Chaining shit together is always a thing, right? We're going to go ahead and make sure we shout out the artists on these two because all of them are pretty fucking incredible. So Soyame did a insane job on Black Widow. Obviously it has the Leave No Witnesses feel to it.
She loves a bitch with white hair.
Contact her back too.
Who doesn't love a bitch with white hair?
I have to agree.
It's the spooky eyes for me personally. I'm all about that eye contact.
And can I bring up how much I love horns?
Horn lady?
Well, I mean,
I love
why we got to be gender specific.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
just horns.
Just big horn fan.
Yeah. Gib. Like I'm in.
There's a reason I played a Minotaur in the longest running T&D session I played.
Yep, Tiefling was always a go-to for me for similar reasons.
He's a hoof head.
What the fuck is that?
No, I'm a horn dog. Thank you very much.
There we go. That makes way more sense.
Double horned up on a Sunday, my man.
Telling you, I'm busting out the witch hazel all by myself. I don't care who sees me.
Did you play? Wait, if you're a horn dog, were you like half Minotaur, half Knoll?
No, I'm not that smart and funny, Darick.
Oh,
I was a barbarian.
Me dummy swing with horny. Is that what you're trying to? Okay, perfect. No notes.
Eating a horn dog on Coney Island.
I saw your music video. I know what that means.
Yes, you do.
We're going to go to form number 2 now, which is Arachne Funnel Web. If you haven't figured out, they're all named after spiders. Shocking.
This
This one is
a spider.
Yes.
They're all spiders.
This one is maybe the cutest one.
It is the most adorable.
Cutest?
And yeah, cutest. Are you?
He has some sort of little like, oh no, I'm going to get
I want to pet him.
Yeah. I want him to be my pal.
Boy, that is not the energy I'm getting from Arachne Funnel Web.
He kind of looks like Crumbopulous Michael from
yes,
Rick
this
and
is
Morty.
what I'm saying.
Oh boy, here I go.
I just love killing. This guy is killing again.
I thought Redback was the most adorable, and it also has strong spider vibes.
Spooky to me.
That's a little spoopy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, tarantula.
Okay, all right, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about Funnel Web.
Read Funnel Web.
Okay, Greg.
Okay, Arachne Funnel Web. The goodest boy.
How dare you?
Eat my ass and floss with the hair, you fuck.
Shut your mouth, Greg.
All right, we're back at it. So Arachne Funnel Web is number 2. Once per attack, that made sense. Once per attack reaction, discard an assassin card, and target assassin attack gets +3. There's a theme here. Yeah. If it has stealth, it gets when this hits a hero banished card from their arsenal. So very much so a CNC type effect. Good, not great.
Contextual.
I think that's where I'm going with this.
Right?
Contextual, sure.
If they don't have an arsenal, it kind of feels bad. But
these remind me of I've been playing Mara's Vinset list and trying to figure that out, and that all the widespreads are sort of like banish from hand, top of deck, and arsenal, and they're all really weirdly complicated and annoying, and you're like, is this card even good? Would I ever want this? And then sometimes it pops off and you're like, oh yes, I love this card.
Yes, I wanted that.
Yeah, it's a damn.
So there is something real quick now that we're on the second one. We'll just kind of give up a little bit of the future. 5 of the 6 all have the discard an assassin card to have an assassin attack get +3, and then other
condition.
Text.
Yeah.
If it has stealth, yep. So while like I said, the Black Widow one I think is the scariest. All of these pretty much say you have to overblock by 3.
It's so
that's
annoying.
the beauty here, right? It's
like really annoying.
Because regardless of what it is, it could just be another bad assassin attack in your hand. It could be, some other contextual boost that doesn't do as much, right? So like I always think about cards like Blue Shred. Blue Shred has been something that's been, played off and on in a lot of assassin lists, but it's only worth 2 value. This always makes sure that it gets that 3 value, but it's still also a blue block 3. Ultimately, all of these say like, by the way, you have to overblock this by 3 because you just kind of naturally have to assume one of the other cards in my hand at a minimum could do this. Now, there could be more, right? I actually think this deck is going to make the stock of like red shred go up because people will overblock by 3 and then you can potentially, get more value out of it depending. But that is something that I'm really loving about this is that even when your disruption doesn't land or your attacks don't land, you're potentially forcing an extra card out of them, which is a big deal.
It's interesting. I mean, there are a couple things that I'm incredibly excited about. First of all, it's the ability to potentially play toxicity and not have to like feel bad about it because it's such a goofy card. Because you can just run that, and then worst case scenario, you just throw it into your graveyard for the +3, and that still feels good. But then also just the mind games of every single time they attack with a card with stealth, you have to consider there's no good way to do anything.
Razor's Reflex is back on the menu is my idea.
Yeah, it sure is. It's a good way to guarantee it's going to hit.
Foil alpha version of that I pulled.
Did you keep that? I thought you sold that.
No, I kept it. It's in my drawer.
Wait, your drawer?
Oh, that's so cute. Stephen Cookus, a.k.a. the Captain Lord Armada, pulled one of those in an alpha box that I bought a pack for, and I've got that.
Captain Lord Armada?
Yeah. CL Armada, as we all know.
Obviously. That's what the DM stands for, Captain Lord.
Shout out to Federico Musetti on this one for the cutest little boy. I mean, this one is.
I'm gonna fight you on that one day, but okay.
It's not. I mean, it's Arachne, so it's they them coded, but I just want to.
It's spooky.
Yeah.
Honestly, the thing that I'm just now noticing as I'm looking at this is the size of the alleged dagger one of their arms is holding behind them. That's that looks like
a pole arm.
That looks like something Cloud would use in Final Fantasy VII. That thing is gnarly as fuck.
Now, this is an interesting thing about Arachne is that I feel like they were being coy about calling them, but I feel like it's not because they're not a non-binary gender character. They're just multiple
because they're a
people.
Fucking spider.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like some people might be mad about that, and I'm just saying they should give us a non-binary hero.
See, I didn't take it that way. I take it as
you think he's still he's still there.
Got him.
Get woke, liberal.
Sorry.
So I didn't take it that way. I took it as that they are fluid, right? So if you think about the way that in Norse literature, Loki presents as both a man and a woman, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're still Loki, but there's different forms, different versions. Loki can turn into animals, etc.
Zeus turns into a golden shower.
Well, yeah, but Zeus is pretty canonically always still referred to as like a he,
and the horniest of the
Loki
gods,
is always a bit more fluid with the descriptions.
So you're saying Arachne is like a shapeshifter?
Yes, but not like the shapeshifter class, but just specifically with the way that they manifest themselves. Yeah, to some extent. And I think that's also why we have both feminine forms and spider forms and masculine forms of Arachne, because they can do all of those things.
That's interesting.
Let's go to 3 now, though, because this is Arachne Orb Weaver. This is one of the templated ones that's different. So this one is Graphene. Chalesara costs you 1 less to activate. So pretty sure that's the dagger.
It's gotta be,
because that's a spider mandible, if I remember right, and so that would make sense.
Is that really what that is?
Because that's going to lead us. I believe so, yes.
Holy Scorp. Wow. The mouth parts of arthropods in the subphylum, whatever that word is, which includes spiders, horseshoe crabs, sea spiders, and scorpions.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
And I like this art. It reminds me of Mortal Kombat comic book.
Yes. Or Freddy Krueger, either one. Yeah. And so this is once per turn instant. That's the discard an assassin card. Equip one of these tokens. We're a knife thrower too, so this would make sense. Your next attack with stealth gets +3. This one is also a frightening one because this doesn't require an on hit. So if you have, this is where Flick Knives actually gains a ton of value.
Yes.
And Hurl.
Is this card.
Flick Knives and Hurl gain a ton of value. I do think that this Graphene Chelicera token is probably the token weapon for this Arachne, which would make sense. And the fact that it says equip means obviously you have to get rid of it first. I wonder if this means we're going to see reprints of Hurl or if we're going to get even more ways to throw the daggers, which would also make for some pretty interesting gameplay.
It's also specifically a token, so
because I think it's going to be the token weapon, right? So I think it says token,
but that also means you don't have to have it in your inventory.
Correct.
Right.
So there is that, and I was just about to say there is the part of me that also wonders if, depending on whether or not contracts are viable with this version of Arachne. I don't think it will be. I think that Huntsman will still be your contract-centric version of Assassin, and that this is still going to be more stealth-based. However, if there ever is a version where contracts or getting silver is a bit easier than anticipated, I'd love to see some sort of build where you're running like Graven Call plus equipping tokens with this form, just so that you get like a little bit of an insurance that you're always getting them back.
Right.
The tokens have to suck, right? Like they're going to be really bad.
They're probably two red disc attack ones with Go Again. But they will have stealth naturally, is my guess.
Man, you think that's bad?
That seems kind of good.
That seems dummy good. It's probably going to be 3 red discs for one with Go Again stealth.
No, I don't think so, because when you look at what the other daggers do, they either also have piercing plus a relevant on hit for their 2 red discs, because the 2 red discs for one is already undervalued when you compare it to stuff like Kodachi or
Centauri Saber.
Yeah, any other thing that swings for, 1. But the other reason is even when you look at something like Beckoning Mistblade, which doesn't have piercing, it's 2 red still for 1, but also has one hell of an on hit.
Honestly.
Right?
What if it's 2 red?
I think it's entirely in the realm of possibility that one of 2 versions of like daggers exist. I think one might be you pay 2, you swing for 1, it has stealth. I think that's entirely reasonable. I could even see that one having piercing, if I'm being honest. But even if it doesn't, I think it's fine.
At least
the other one that I think will exist, even if it's not in the set at some point down the road or in the future, I think that we're going to have a dagger that swings and on hit marks.
Yeah. Okay.
I was going to say, what if it does?
That's really fucking annoying, though. You know that, right?
That's really annoying. But what if it's a 2? What if it's a 2 red 1 with Go Again? But if it hits, it's destroyed as a token. Like it just sticks in there, and they're marked.
Yeah, maybe. The only reason I think
they're marked. Fuck it.
Well, so the only reason I think that the mark is also still entirely fine in that regard is like, yes, it's annoying, especially if you've got a hero like Arachne that is banking a lot of stuff on marking things.
He loves to mark.
You're still paying 2 resources for potentially just 1 damage with the on hit, and like pitching a blue for Kodachi and then doing something else is already annoying people. So if they can just block 1 time and not even leak damage and stop whatever, it's not the end of the world. There's equipment, there's reusable equipment, right? Like warriors would laugh at, if there's no piercing or whatever, warriors are just like, whatever, you get my boots every turn, who cares? Right. So I think it would be entirely fine. But I do think it will be something that likely exists again, even if it's not in this set at some point in the future, just because you're already with all of the other demi-hero versions banking so hard on like you have to have enough attacks with stealth that I think you got to have some sort of reliable way to mark to even become the demi-heroes, right? There's got to be some sort of reliable way because, like, let's be honest, that's the fun part of the class. And if you also then have to pack in like 20 or 25 cards to mark your opponent, then your deck's already kind of built itself and there's no...
Wait, I thought the fun part of the class was going to your opponent. Whew, that was close as you marked Lost in Gem. I really thought that was the fun part of the class.
Huntsman.
Oh, sorry. But at any rate...
New doesn't say that.
New does not say that. I honestly think that this is, to me, the most interesting of the forms. Mainly because you almost always have a play pattern that is certainly abusable with this. If the Chalestra costs 2 to activate and this just makes it cost 1 for each and they have go again naturally, that's real rough. And then on top of that, being able to truck them with flick knives and then also just having the ability to then go, okay, well, now I just equip one of them back. The one I flicked, equip it back.
Yeah.
And it's degenerate shit.
It is interesting, but I think that one of the things that, gets lost in the assessment potentially is one, there's no guarantee you ever see this demi-hero throughout an entire match. And two, even if you do see it, you have to have flicked knives preemptively somehow.
I keep hearing every time you say that.
Yeah, or have the hurl in your hand so that you can get rid of one with go again to set it up. There's a lot here. And the other thing that makes this one, and again, I still think it's very good, but I think it is also part of the balancing, if I'm being entirely honest, is that this buff, unlike the other buffs, is preemptive, right? That gives +3 to your next stealth attack, not to an existing one. So you pre-telegraph what is getting the bonus. Whereas with the other ones, if you have multiple stealth attacks in a turn, they have to pick their poison on what to overblock.
Right. Yep. Also, just shout out to the artist again, Jessica Suthi. This is fucking nightmare fuel, and I love it.
It's a great one.
It's so good. Marvels of these are going to cost $1 million and be awesome, and I'm okay with that.
That assassin tax.
The assassin tax is real, by the way.
It didn't used to be.
It didn't used to be, but it is now. There's a reason I'm really glad I own Cold Foil Assassin everything, because fuck.
It got really expensive now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not great. The next one is Arachne Redback, which is number 4. This one has the what Charmer says is the cutesy art, which you need to have a talk about.
Look,
I don't know how they fit into
it's
that
a happy,
dress.
pudgy little guy with a cool umbrella.
Is this why you hang out with me? I don't own an umbrella.
Okay, you're jealous because you would have an umbrella if you played.
Why?
If you played Fortnite with me and Stark, we'd get you a victory umbrella, and then
why
you
would
could use it to float down to the island.
I've only cared about one cosmetic thing in a game in my life.
Oh boy.
And that was World of Warcraft.
Yep.
There was a thing called Flag of Ownership, which would plant a flag in your opponent's corpse that was just a thumbs down. And
That's
I
cute.
played I PvP'd a ton, and so I macroed it to execute. And so when I killed people, it just went boom and put a flag in them. And so you'd see a battlefield, like in a battleground, just fucking littered with thumbs down flags. And I'm like, that's how many kills I have. That was the only thing I cared about.
Was there combat in that game?
There's PvP.
Yeah.
I could tell you almost nothing about WoW beyond that it involves a world and a Warcraft.
And you are a happier human because of it.
Probably.
Yeah. Fuck that game. So
every game is just WoW now.
Pretty close, yeah. Or Overwatch. But this is Marvel Rivals is Overwatch. It's fun, but it's Overwatch. And so this one is it's the discard an assassin card, target attack with stealth gets +3. If it has stealth, it gets a go again, which is Redback Shroud.
Redback is the sauce.
Yeah. Redback's real good.
Yeah, this one is great because one, it doesn't have to hit to give the bonus. And it also, again, kind of puts your opponent on notice when you swing with that first stealth, because now it's, okay, do I want to just let this one go? Knowing that there might be something like worse afterwards.
All of your cards turn into a better Razor Reflex. Like, that's what happens. And that's incredibly good. Just going to put that out there. If Razor Reflex cost 0 and didn't have to hit, it'd be in every fucking deck. Like, that had 1 or 0 cost attacks. So, just going to put that out there. This one's just
also going to be so fun when you're, like, leading off with Prowl. Right? Like, I'm so excited for Prowl to be making a comeback.
That's so funny. Or like Isolate's going to be just a fucking nightmare fuel for people now because they can't overblock and isolate anymore. It's like
toxicity into Isolate, and then you just get to slap something stupid. You just discard your Plague Hive to give it go again.
Blue Isolate so you can just a nick it or whatever and just be a complete asshole all the time. Which is what assassins do, apparently. I'm still trying to figure this out, man, because like I get the umbrella. You know, as a fat guy myself, like I'm really happy that you're into the pudge.
Look, if you don't stare hard at it, right? Like put it on a monitor.
There's
and
a
just
fucking
glance.
Umbrella. He's holding they're holding an umbrella.
He's holding it like a bladed umbrella, and it's cute. But even beyond that, right? If you just glance,
follow the blades up like they're a.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it like was an optical illusion.
It looks like a happy jack-o'-lantern. Okay.
God damn it!
They've got a bonus mask.
Okay, I gotta go with you there, and I say is smiling, and that you can't say that for everyone. That's not a happy smile, though. This is I love death.
This is the most devious of smiles. Yeah,
I'm a big fan of evisceration. I'm about to get to do my favorite thing.
I'm about to drink the marrow from your bones, and I'm so excited.
And he's like,
marrow is delicious. Though.
Nom 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 nom.
Who doesn't love Marrow?
Honestly.
I love Marrow.
Honestly.
Marrow's great. Like one of my favorite X-Men characters. Bone Marrow Butter is great. Yeah, there's a whole lot of things in there. But this is way up on the tier list for the I think for the forms. And again, shout out to Nathaniel Hinawan for just the happy jack-o'-lantern with the umbrella.
Yep.
Because Charmer is just like, oh, like you pat it. No.
Right. Okay.
No.
I've got the perfect tattoo for you, Charmer. It's just a chibi version of Arachne with that umbrella. That's it.
That's cute. You should get that. And then
or just a chibi version of that art.
Yeah.
Honestly.
He's Arachne. Or they're Arachne. Yeah. And then number 5 is Arachne Tarantula.
Gosh.
And this is the scariest one.
This is the scariest looking one by far. This was terrifying.
Between the perspective and the mask.
Like, what are his hands?
Sometimes when you stare at the abyss stares back. And this is the abyss staring back.
It reminds me of, have you ever seen Return to Oz?
Of course.
Yes.
He looks like a wheelie.
Yeah, he looks like a wheelie.
Which are very scary.
I don't want to Google this, but now I have
Return to Oz is the best Oz movie by far.
There's only... Oh, yeah.
What the fuck, Charmer? Trigger warnings.
What did you say?
Did you show me the tits and I missed it?
It's in the chat. Like, in our Discord chat.
I was just saying, it also kind of reminds me of this.
It's not okay.
No.
Do I want to look? Oh, that guy.
Man.
That's pretty ugly. I kind of like it though.
That's uncomfortable.
Oh, I don't like.
There was someone at a Ren fair I went to that was doing a Green Man costume.
It's just a suit,
sort of like this. No, not It's Always Sunny Green Man, like Wicca, Wicca Green Man.
Wicca Green Man, okay.
And he had like a big tree face or whatever, but he was like crawling around like that. It was weird.
All right, well, good talk. The ability on this one is whenever a dagger you control, you own hits a hero, they lose 1 life. That's pretty good.
It is.
And then
good.
it has the assassin, the discard an assassin card target dagger attack gets +3. So cute.
It is worth noting that cards like Flick Knives do count as a hit for the dagger.
Yep. They sure do.
Flick Knives math is changing. Hurl stock's going up.
Adore that. Like, yeah, it's going to be kind of chaotic, and that's the whole point here. But I adore that the people who put in the time for this hero are going to get such a reward for having situational awareness, playing around exactly like what options you have available due to whatever hero pops up, and or forcing your opponent to make mistakes because they are misreading it, right? There are, I think, a number of these where I can see, you know, again, your opponent might do the math wrong, like Greg said, and not realize like, hey, Flick Knives counts. And then there's also like, you know, the swing that's coming, and I'm just really looking forward to jamming this.
I'm sorry, while you're talking about that, it made me think of things that bring me joy, so I had to look at Wembanyama's stat line.
The flopper.
Hey, the
motherfucking
flopper. What the fuck are you talking on?
He's flopping all over.
How do you flop when you're 7'4"?
You could
Look
see
at
it.
The limbs. Look at the
oh
limbs.
No, he stepped on my foot. I fell all the way on the ground.
Yeah, that's fucking Wemby right there.
This is Arachne Wembanyama.
That's Arachne Wembanyama?
This is Arachne Wembanyama.
Probably. But Wemby has got 29. He's 4 of 8 from 3. With 2 blocks. It's just so pretty.
He's very good. He doesn't got a flop.
Tarantula is 4
You're a fucking Knicks fan. Like,
star of how
I live in New York.
Blocks for 3.
You live in Floptown, and the only person you're missing
Floptown, USA.
Your only person you're missing is LeBron, in which case you would have collected all of the flop.
Or Harden.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Harden.
Different podcast.
Different podcast. I get it. Fucking Harden. At any rate, again, shout out to the artist Max Costin for giving me nightmares. That's cool of you.
Beautiful one.
This is wild. Is this the first piece of art Max Costin has done for the game? I've got to look now.
You know,
Holy God Almighty! No, they did OG Azalea. Wow. Yeah. The more you know, and they did Head Jab.
Head Jab, yeah, and Rattlebones.
I know it's like the one that is probably least impressive to most people, but I was immediately, when you were like, I wonder if they've done it, to me, I was like, yeah, it's Arknight Shard. Like, that's the one I remember.
Huh. Well, I've never held one of those in real life in my hand, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
The
really?
only Fable I don't own a copy of.
Am I the only one in this podcast that has an Arknight Shard?
I don't have one. I don't. But why would I want one?
The only Fable I own is Plague Hive, because that's the type of person Greg is.
I have all of the other ones.
Looking at the other art, I
don't have a Will of Arcana.
Ravenous Rabble and Vantage Point are also both very, very good.
Ravenous Rabble's a shitty foil, but but good art.
As a person that cannot create art in the physical medium well,
same.
I'm very impressed by the progression they seem to have made, because I would have, again, please forgive me, Max, if you're hearing this somewhere, I would have never called Head Jab like dope ass art. Arachne Tarantula is fucking phenomenal, and it seems like there's been a big improvement in their craft.
I think that's art direction too.
Maybe.
Yeah. I was going to say there's a lot of moving parts here, but I'm just going to try to address what I think are the big 3. One, it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
Probably more. Right? Because that was probably in development like well ahead of time, being the first set.
2017, so probably.
Lots of room to improve just across time.
Yeah.
2, as Logan rightfully pointed out, art direction also, when you're designing a base game and you're trying to kind of be a bit more generalized, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
The other thing that jumps out to me is it also might have just been, and I don't know the details, this is entirely speculation, but it might have just been you get what you pay for. Like, Flesh and Blood was a very young game.
Yeah.
And so, like, the rates and the art and, like, what you get for it just might not have been the same in the early
Absolutely.
days.
If you were to tell me, like, okay, I can only pay you for 3 hours of your time versus you have as much time as you need, we're just going to keep giving you notes and tell you to improve it until we're happy.
And money.
That's a very different finished product that you get. So that's very true also.
For sure.
Because if I told Brynn, hey, I need you to make a new outro for our show.
Right.
But I can only pay you for 17 minutes. I'm going to get like Slipknot's percussion as the outro to the show.
You're just going to get Brynn beatboxing, and I want to give her $17 to beatbox a new outro for the show now.
I know that we still got one more, but I need I need, before we move on, I want to, like, since we're still talking about daggers here, even though it was more relevant with Orb Weaver.
You really like daggering. Yep, we get it.
No, listen. I have come to the conclusion, I do think that the graphene chelicerae is going to be a dagger with stealth.
100%.
And the reason that I think so is because one of the cards that's already been spoiled is Tarantula Toxin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that, if you do not remember, listener, don't worry, I got you. It is a 0 cost red assassin attack reaction that says choose one or both. And it is target dagger attack gets +3 attack. Target card defending an attack with stealth gets -3 block this turn. And given that it is Tarantula Toxin and chelicerae could be the mandible of a tarantula, et cetera, I think that...
You think I had it?
That's what it is.
Yep. You think it's a 0 for 6?
I was going to say, I'm going to put you on the spot right now, Darick. Well, I mean, we already have a 0 for 6,
that doesn't use your action point.
Yeah, that's what Just-a-Nick is, right? Isn't that basically practically a 0 for 6?
It's pretty close to Just-a-Nick. Now, I will say, now hear me out. I will say, if that is the case, my other suspicion is that you will not be able to start with a chelicerae equipped. I think you'll start with 2 daggers, and that you have to destroy one or flick one or whatever, get that one to use the thing to equip it, and turn your Tarantula Toxin on for the 0.
That's interesting, because that jives with the other piece of speculation that I have about this set, that this is where we're going to finally see a generic dagger as a weapon, and everybody's just going to get to play with the same dagger initially. That's what my little heart says.
I think we might see a generic dagger, but I don't think that...
I think a draconic dagger is going to be a thing.
People won't use it.
Well, true, yeah. Last one, number 600. Oh, fucking Christ.
Sorry, go.
I want to hear what you have to say.
I thought we were done with... I forgot a trapdoor.
Yeah, we have a trapdoor. We have Arachne backdoor. And
Cyberpunk
Arachne slipped into Metrix's backdoor.
Yeah, it's Cyberpunk Arachne. This is the one that has like no reaction or instant or anything else. It's just a wall of text. Yep. And this one is Arachne Trapdoor. When you become this, you may search your deck for a card, banish it face down, then shuffle. If it's a trap, you may play it until the start of your next turn. Now we're doing the thing that Charmer loves, which is making people guess.
If is good.
Right.
Because Charmer would go banish something shitty and be like,
Yep. I don't need that other last-ditch effort in my deck anymore. No, I'll just get that out of there and then...
But also, even if you are somebody who's not just going to be really dumb like me... This is, I think, much stronger than it looks, because this extends your hand essentially for free. Yeah. And your opponent knows it's a trap, but they might not necessarily know which trap, or B, even if they know it, you just get a free 3 block. So you get to extend your hand for offense potentially.
And
right?
even more so than that, right? Because there's also already the assassin typed reactions that we got in Outsiders that also give you another boon potentially, where it's like, sucks to be you. You also get an inertia token now, and that didn't even take a card from my hand.
Or frailty,
frailty.
So there's those, and then obviously they're not going to make this card unplayable in the set. So we're going to get some new traps too.
Yeah.
No, this one's probably the most mindfucky. The art is super mindfucky. So props to Jessica Suthi again, because nice. But here, it's the guessing game is real, and honestly, if you hit this in limited as an agent of chaos, and you go search a card, it's almost always going to be a trap, and your opponent's going to know it, because we're talking about 30 card minimum, or flat out 30 card decks,
right?
So peeling a card out, deck life is a real thing in limited. So peeling a card out for no reason is actively bad in a lot of cases.
Right. So then you're playing the game of, well, is it worth attacking them now if I know they have this bonus trap that they'll just be able to play, and then I maybe get punished for doing something.
Now, the one thing I can see that with this card specifically is if you can search and fail to find, and allows you to shuffle, because sometimes shuffling is relevant.
Yeah. But why wouldn't you like maybe take out a blue that you're like if you're getting down to your smaller
if it doesn't block, maybe
like take out
I was
no
just gonna say I don't think you can fail to find. And my reasoning for that, Logan, I can't wait for Josh to come on and tell me.
Yeah, we need Josh.
But my reasoning for that is when I look at this, it starts with you may search. Right. So like the idea of if you don't want to do it, you'd stop there.
Right.
But also it's search your deck for a card, but because you don't have to reveal it, you're not failing to find. Like your opponent doesn't need to see the card to know that you can find a card.
Sure,
right?
But that's not a card.
It's not a quality.
You couldn't find it. You couldn't find a card.
No.
If it was, again, making you put it face up or something like that, then I'd say, yeah, you could fail to find or whatever. But I think that they're going to say you have to make the decision at the May portion would be my guess.
I guess.
Because, as you said, from a balance standpoint, especially in limited, like
shuffling is a thing,
Shuffling is a thing. Cards are, resources. If you want to take that shuffle, you have to do something.
Well, the syntax is almost exactly like Zen. Search your deck for a card with combo, banish it, then shuffle, and you can fail to find a Zen.
But that's because you could have a card without combo in your deck.
You have to show that it has combo, so it's face up. This
it has a condition.
Down,
this doesn't have a condition for the card.
And if it's a trap, then you can do the thing, but it's face down. So that's the only reason why I think that you won't be able to fail to find.
Yeah.
Because it's...
But you could just not do it.
Right. But then you don't get the shuffle.
No shuffle.
But sometimes you want the shuffle.
Okay, so this whole thing is so complicated. It's the most crazy hero, most complicated hero that they've done in a long time, if not ever.
Period.
2 weeks until they call for it to be banned on.
Do you think that... No, because I don't think...
They probably already started.
I don't think that this will see almost any competitive play.
I disagree.
Like, I don't think that it's... People who play this game hate not knowing what they can do or having a random dice tell them like, oh, your hand actually sucks now.
It all starts with how easy it is to mark somebody. If it's easy to mark somebody, then Arachne Marionette's text is good enough.
Right.
What would be easy?
A dagger. So if I'm right about the Chelicerae being the one with stealth, but you have to jump through hoops to get it, I think that we might get another dagger that's just pay 2 red, swing for 1. If it hits mark, go again.
Or just modal cards that mark an opponent.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've already seen...
We have that one. We have...
we have at least one, but...
We've got the ones for limited, at least, right? We've got Defang the Dragon and Extinguish the Flames, but... Yeah.
Like I said, I think that it all comes down to how easy it is to mark an opposing hero. If it's easy, like you can kind of guarantee it most turns, Arachne is super playable because Marionette's text is good enough.
Yeah.
But you
I don't know. I'm inclined
because if you hit them, the mark goes away.
Right. I'm inclined to agree with Charmer. I bet a dagger will have it, and they probably view that from a balance perspective as like, am I scared enough of getting marked, right? Or is it worth giving them a card?
Or, actually, here's the other bit. And I don't know if it would be a legendary or what, but the other thing that jumps out is some sort of equipment that allows you to do something to mark. Because the big thing with the transformation is that they still have to be marked at the end of the turn.
Which if you hit them while they're marked, the mark goes away.
Right.
Right. So sequencing wise, even if it's a dagger, that if you're trying to transform, that means that you're trying to end your turn with that dagger attack, right? I could see some sort of equipment thing, like as a chain ender, right? Where it's like literally like you pitch a blue, doesn't have go again, you mark your opponent or something.
Imagine if it's like a grains of blood spill type of thing, right? Where it's like, if this happens, then you have the opportunity to do that.
You think it's just going to be like you think it's just going to be like a light switch? Like you're marked or not, basically whether you want it to
not
be
that easy. That easy is a little too much.
There's probably going to be at least one
if it's
majestic.
a grains, if there's a grain situation where you have a chest that does it, I mean, that's pretty okay.
Actually, I'm trying to do this on the spot, so this is not nearly as thought out.
Well, I'm gonna hold you to it.
I apologize.
If I had a couple more days, I'd have a whole spreadsheet about how it works.
Yeah, listen. I apologize to people like Brian, who I actually respect, because this is going to sound asinine. But if you're trying to play into themes of the class, it actually makes most sense if it's like in a piece of equipment or something else. It could even be on the dagger or whatever. But it's you pay something as an attack reaction that adds, if this hits, then mark your opponent. So that you have the requirement of something has to have hit. It's not just a light switch, but attack reaction plays into the class as well. And
I've got it for you, Darick. Are you ready? It's going to be like the wind-up cycle, but for assassin. At instant speed, you can discard this, and if an attack is hit this turn, your opponent is marked.
No, I think that there'll be wind-up stuff where it's just you discard it and they mark.
Isn't that what I just said?
No, you said if they hit.
Interesting. No, I don't hear the things I say, Logan. Okay. Why would I do that?
I'm
the decry of sound, not the decry of listening.
What? Okay. Well,
it's a potato and the tomato situation. Okay.
You put a potato and a tomato. What?
Yeah.
Who hurt you? Do we need to have that discussion now?
It was my father.
Oh, well, good to know.
So you and Charmer have that problem.
It was technically it was actually my mom. I have mommy issues.
Same
That's
kind
the
of
biggest
guy.
problem, but yeah.
That explains why there are hay heel marks on your back. Okay, I got it. You like being stepped on.
It's all the flagellation.
I love that word.
Such a good word.
Such a good word.
So anyway, I also really look forward to them just keywording it to be a wind up, right? Where wind up is the shorthand now for instant
I got you.
Discard this, you get this
do
boon,
a thing, discard
right?
to do a thing. Sure.
Where it's just wind up : I'm really looking forward to that day.
Okay, a wind up : is a completely different thing. Like I have a wind up colon.
No. You have
crack porcelain if I wind it too tight.
You have a wound up colon. There is a difference.
Yeah, if your colon has been wind up, I'm pretty sure that's one of those alcohol enemas I've heard about, right?
See, I'm more of a coffee enema girl, personally.
They're doing that. They're doing that in tech world.
I will take a Merlot. I take a Merlot enema.
See,
I think I'm okay with that.
I'm a Pinot girl myself.
That shocks no one.
A Pinot more, you know what I'm saying?
I'm drinking any fucking Merlot.
I asked for fucking Merlot.
Neither is Logan in this scenario.
No, I'm taking it in the ass. I'm okay with this. It's fine. Merlot in the ass is fine with me.
I'm going to go ahead and say I don't think people are going to be trapdooring Arachne at like Pro Tour. Maybe he'll win a calling.
No.
Listen,
maybe he'll win a calling. Maybe.
You need to adjust your expectations because I'm going to say no good players will be doing it.
That's what I'm saying.
I will definitely be there.
I said, do you think it'll be competitive?
I think it will. I'm excited.
I will be playing it at competitive events.
Yes, you will.
I'm really excited. I think there's going to be a lot of hand wringing and teeth gnashing from the current top crust of pro players when something like Arachne is actually viable.
I think this is the knife cutting both ways because one, the argument could be made that like this is Brian's pet hero, right? And so, but the other end of this is Brian recognizing that it's his pet hero might be super conscious of making it too good and dial it back purposefully. But who knows?
See, but I think that Arachne slipped through the cracks is probably too good.
I'm really excited to play that Arachne too.
Like already, it's just like if you can just fucking play Bonds of Agony with Go Again all the time, it's pretty annoying.
Turns out that is exactly how the card reads.
Yeah.
So,
the only solace in that is you only get 6 copies. Well, I guess 9 copies if you're a real degenerate.
Because of Codex?
Double Trouble, Go Again.
Codex and
how about no blocks? How about Bonds of Agony then? I hate this. I don't want to play against Slip Through the Cracks.
Man, I do. I've played against so many illusionists. I am so ready for just all of my fucked up stealth cards have go again.
Also, now we have stealth with contract. We've got Defang the Dragon and Extinguish the Flames, and I just feel like that's also really annoying.
Those are probably not the only two. So
listen, I try to jam it in way too many decks, but I'm still a huge fan of Infiltrate, and I'm also excited for any excuse to play more of that.
Because of Iswardi's art?
And because I like playing my opponent's cards against them.
Yeah, right. There's nothing.
You've been holding my stuff against me for years at this point. But I honestly, so not, saying it in a way that it makes me sound like an asshole, obviously, but I'm really looking forward to playing at the world premiere.
I thought you were going to say, I'd fuck the Infiltrate lady. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
No condoms without grace.
I would never.
I would not.
Unless.
I would not. No, there's no unless. That is a non-starter. For reasons, but
I know those reasons.
Yeah, right. And so that's a no. But also, happy birthday, Carolina. And
other people can cosplay things. We're not talking about real
but
people.
It doesn't matter. The thought will be there, and he can't do both, right?
No, I can't.
The kid can't even talk to himself in his head.
One is like a daughter, right? And the other is Carolina.
No, I think that's the one that's like a daughter.
Iswardi Therianto.
The other one's Iswardi Therianto.
Wait, Ishur is also your
son.
Dang it. No,
so you're gonna play Arachne Slip Through the Crack?
If Ishur came up to me and said, Logan, I have a really nice cuck chair that no one's using, and I think that you would fit perfectly in it, I would immediately say, yes, I will gladly sit in your cuck chair, and whatever happens beyond that is up to you. Because I love Iswardi that much.
I'm just here to take notes, Ishur. That's all I'm here for.
That's why the desk with the cuck chair is so important. Like, I didn't see why people were so shocked by that. But any rate.
Hey man, I'll watch whatever.
Of course you will.
Well, what else am I doing?
I mean, I was around on the internet when rotten.com was a thing. So what else do I need?
Or meat spin, or lemon party, or 2 girls, 1 cup, or 1 man, 1 jar. Tub girl. Oh man. Listen, the internet is a dark place.
Yeah.
And at least it used to be a fun loving level of dark. Now it's just existential dread.
We were there when there was no walls.
That's correct, actually. Very much so. We're there when there were no walls. But the to be fair in all of this is just, I honestly feel like Slip Through the Cracks is a fucked up card. It's fucked up that they just took Arachne Solitary Confinement and made Arachne Solitary Confinement adult with no adjustment. Because
some adjustment, but
what do you mean some adjustment?
Higher life.
Gave it 40 life.
Well, they also said
38.
So it's not 40
it's
life.
Each of
38. Sorry,
it's the first attack with stealth, not just yours, right? So it gives your opponents.
Still missing
right?
the important bit here is that it also has the chaos talent, which means I can spurlock people.
You sure can.
You can spurlock.
You can ham all over their sandwich, Daddy. You sure can.
I cannot wait to slip through the cracks and spurlock somebody.
Do you think there's like some achievement that people have like decided on that if Brody plays a spurlocked, how long does it take Brody to resolve a spurlocked?
It depends if it's a top 8 match or not.
I mean, clearly, but I mean that over under is real tempting to set like at
watching Brody spin a cube in his mind for 30 minutes.
Yeah. I think I kind of want to set this.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, I love Brody. He's great, but this is funny.
He's a good
5
kid.
On it.
He's a smart kid.
I got 5 on it.
Oh,
so did the Loonies.
Easily $5 on this bet. But where's the line? Give me the line. Hey, actually, better idea. Call Jordan right now, mid-podcast, without context, Ask them for
you have to
the
explain
line.
Spurlock to him.
No. Don't explain anything to him.
I do.
No, you don't. You just have to say, all right, Jordan,
okay,
look,
let's see.
This is very important.
Let's see if he answers. Let's see if he answers. All right. It's currently 11:30 Eastern time.
Is he on the Eastern time?
Yeah. Let's see if he answers the phone. It's very important right now because this is just good television now. And my guess is he's in bed because he's a reasonable human being and he will not answer this phone call.
Yeah, because he's not a degenerate.
He's not. Well, he is. He's going to call me back in the morning and ask what that was all about.
And you're going to say, I was only
this
2
is
beers
very,
in.
This is very important. No, I'm like 90.
I'm 90.
Damn. Sorry, can't. God. Nope, we missed.
All right, that's one chance.
I'm gonna definitely get a call in the morning about that. But
fuck. Okay.
But point being that I think that this set is I'm so excited to play in Prague because it is just cool. Like everything about it just feels cool, and no other set that I can think of had that sort of maybe Uprising had that feeling initially. But this one is, to me, the one that's felt the most like out of the box. You look at the shit and just go, yeah, I want to do that. And I'm really excited for that part. But what are your thoughts on the set as a whole with what we have right now? Because we're not seeing any new spoilers until right before Prague.
Is that true or not? This is it? I didn't look at the spoiler wall.
I thought there were some people that had confirmed spoilers. I think it's going to be, we're just getting, what did we get for Part the Mistfield? Because they're doing the opposite this time. Or for Rosetta.
Yeah, this time they're doing
Majestics
only, and some legendaries.
Right.
But
but we will get more in Majestics.
That was what I was led to believe.
Because we don't really have that many.
We have.
I think we only have like 3 from the actual set so far, right?
I mean, the aforementioned Tarantula Toxin, Blood Runs.
Yeah, there's that. There's the Jagged Edge and Long Whisker Loyalty are the ones I was thinking of. And the reason I say that is because there's also the ones that are like promos or something, but I didn't know for sure if they were part of the set.
Right. Well, only time will tell, I suppose.
Part of Dragon Blood. I guess that does have a set number on it. Yeah,
it does. But I don't know. We'll see. But I honestly just have a really good feeling about playing this, especially in Limited. And I really look forward to it because everything looks fucking cool. But I really hope they give me I can't ask for too much here because Jagged Edge and Provoke are both excellent warrior cards. But I kind of feel like I need just like one more action that does a thing that can replace some of the chaff that warrior has to play. But
Long Whisker Loyalty?
That is draconic, so Kasai can't play it.
Well, I didn't say.
And Kasai. It's also daggers, which we
whoa.
We have swords, kids.
Quicksilver Dagger would like a word, Logan.
Yeah, it's shit. Like it's trash.
I mean,
we play Centauri Sabers where we're from. But
you're in Iowa.
That is technically where I'm from. Yes. But
I'm on the Fab page right now and I'm seeing, I don't know if these are going to be, it can't be after Prague because that's hunted is legal, right?
No. That is the pre-release, and the pre-release is the weekend after Prague. And then the release is the weekend after that. So Prague is 2 weeks before the release.
Well, there's 3 more little sections with no dates on them that says contract hunt the hunter with target, and then a bunch string of letters with reward redacted. And there's like
on February, there's a bunch of unknowns.
There's like 10 people each.
Here's the Manorcast is on here.
Well, one of them will release it.
I hope so.
Keely Bender, Mitch Leslie, Eminarcast, Mansand, Fabric, Blue.
All right, so
Carlo Oakley.
Uber is going to be another warrior card.
Yeah, Uber will be.
So we'll get some more stuff. But I think, to me, if this feels like the most... I kind of think that Charmer's right that there's going to be a lot of belly aching about this set because I think it's the most board gamey set so far.
Oh, Uber's was Provoke. We already have Ubers.
Ooh, they just haven't updated the website.
And that was a warrior card. So, and then we have Spurlocked, and then all the Arachnes were Chicago. Yeah. So we have Ubers, and it was a warrior card.
Provoke is really annoying.
Provoke is great. And I'm very happy to replace some of the shitty blues that I was playing because they're blue block 3s with a card that does something.
A really annoying thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that there's going to be a lot of people saying like, I think people are going to have a heavy hitter style take on this, where people are mostly, the entire community will like it and play it a lot. And the most of the content creators that are pro players are going to be really mad about it. That's how I think content is going to be received.
Interesting.
We're going to hear people like the Fabled Runaways be like, this is stupid.
Just the Runaways now.
Whatever. They took out that part of the name?
They did. Mm-hmm. They did. Right. Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah, that was the one that was associated with
that's what they used to be called.
Well, they no longer are the Fabled Runaways. They're just the Runaways for now.
Runaways podcast, and maybe who else is the big competitive podcasts?
Arsenal
Manorcast?
Not that one.
Oh.
It won't exist no longer. Arsenal Pass a little bit, but they kind of
push the point.
The place that I go to the most for competitive analysis is Fresh and Buds. I mean, if anybody's going to get a set it's Tommy Fresh.
Tommy's got it, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's a Leviah or Riptide card, he definitely he knows the score on that shit.
He knows what the cards are, unlike most other people.
Runaways, card guys.
Guys, yeah. I think a lot of them will just be like, this is kind of an annoying set to draft.
What about the super successful one, Cardboard Warriors?
Ooh.
I've never heard of that.
You have heard of that?
I have.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's where Saint.
Do you want to hear a riddle?
That was a riddle, man.
Oh boy. Okay.
Riddle me this, Batman. How do I get all of LSS to be mad at me in one video?
No. I mean, they didn't make They didn't make everybody mad. They brought the community together.
Is that how that worked?
That's what they said in their cool review of their last.
You're actually all my art. I'm uniting you in a united front against me, a dumbass.
So this was Ozymandias dropping the giant spit on New York and killing 3 million people.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure that we're up on our Watchmen lore for everybody out there.
I'm gonna have to catch up.
Why would I tell you about my plan if I hadn't already done it? It took me 3 hours.
Yeah, that was the best press part. It's like
I did it 4 hours ago.
I did it 4 hours ago, dumbass. It's like, who the fuck's going to tell you? Who's going to monologue their plan if they haven't already done it? Like, this is stupid.
It's not Dr. Evil.
Right. Like that was always my favorite part of that book. It's like, yeah, I already did it. Like, the fuck are you talking about? But as we're like, so kind of moving through, there's been obviously there's been a lot going on. Community wise and everything else this year. But it always kind of feels like every time we have something like that, like these things happen, it just does become a rallying cry for people, for a lot of people to kind of just like gel a little bit more. And I think that that's overall a good thing. But I by no means think that that's anybody's, goal when they have shit takes. But at the same time, at least you kind of get to see where the community stretches. But I always have that worry that it's a bunch of echo chambers, right? Like, it's nothing but we've curated our lives to the point, within the game or within the community, to the point that we just don't see the shit part of it as often. And how much does that ever get in your head?
I think it's just not really worth thinking about. I mean, there is a level to which there are people who are going to be awful and have really bad opinions. And I think you kind of want to just keep that away from people directing the ship. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And LSS is kind of always fallen on like, we're not going to be too crazy about this. Like, you know, I think if LSS wasn't actively being like, anytime somebody does something really wild and offensive, they've always been like, we're a professional company and we would never stand up for something like that. It's never really been too far in the other direction though. You know, they have sort of been as corporate as hand wavy about like, you know, representation, you know, but they haven't like really been like, we care about our marginalized players in a like real demonstrative way. And I think that would go a long way to just have people who had really bad opinions about how certain people aren't real people would just be like, all right, this company is too much for me. I'm not going to try. I think it's really hard for just the community to be like, no, stay out of our game, Nazis, or just people who watch too much Fox News or whatever. I think it does require a certain level of buy-in from the top. And they've given lip service to it. They've done a little queer baiting in places. But I wouldn't say they've done like, this is how we are as a company, or this is who we're trying to make sure we appease, which they don't have to. But I think these kinds of people will continue to, you know,
show up.
Historically, TCGs are a white man's arena, so it makes sense that, you know, white men with bad opinions would show up. Not that that is a prerequisite or anything, but
it kind of feels like it sometimes.
Sometimes it does, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, James White, the day something bad happened in a content creator community, he said, hey, this is not appropriate. We don't condone this. And use some, you know, I like the guy, but he used some pretty like businessy. Like he didn't actually say.
He didn't name check who it was. He didn't actually explicitly say, hey, it's not okay to speak about other ethnicities or genders like this, right? But
I hear you. I tend to give a little bit of slack here just because you know, I think sometimes like we forget, just because James is so interactive with the community, that like the man is the CEO of a pretty big up and coming business. You know, like he's probably beholden to investors. Obviously, it's still privately owned, but I would imagine he's got some sort of capital, and then there's potential future partners and marketing and all of these things that we have to consider. And like, he's still James White. He's the guy we all know and love. But like him sounding a bit corporate-y makes sense because the man is
totally fine. I think
corporate-y. Like he's the CEO.
He's playing 4D chess, certainly.
And like to what Brynn's saying, I fully understand what you're saying. Like, they haven't done things that I would describe as like totally blatant. But the other thing that I think sometimes gets lost is that, you know, the natural comparison for this game is to Magic. And so you look at all of the things that Magic does and you're like, it'd be nice if some more things happened, but we don't have nearly the amount of avenues available, right? It's not like Flesh and Blood has, you know, 8 billion releases each year. It's not like they've got novels and toys and, you know, video games and all of these other
I want those
places. Well, I know that we want them, but I'm just saying they don't exist right now. And so when you only have a small number of releases each year, and like, let's be honest, I think the marketing they do is solid, but it's not like they have massive marketing campaigns the same way that say Wizards does. Sure. So there's just not a lot of opportunity for them to like hit all of those notes. Yeah. So what I tend to judge them by is like, where do they place their support? So Rainbow Pitch League, for example, wonderful that they like publicly and openly support them, gave them some additional prizing, stuff like that, right? Again, this community issue, it any other company, it didn't require James White to say anything. I've done work for a lot of other corporations where they might have released some sort of like press statement, but the CEO wasn't jumping in, right? Like when I've worked for, Riot or Bethesda or whatever, it's, not like Todd Howard was going to jump in and say something when I was doing something for them. Pete Hines would sometimes, because I think he just enjoyed that sort of thing, but that's the story.
Brian
for a different
style.
Day. So for me,
mix it up.
Yeah. So like for me, it's just one of those, they do at least try to throw support in the proper areas. They do try to amplify a more diverse group of creators than other games do. Are they perfect? No corporation is. But when I compare them to the peers in the industry, I think that they do a pretty good job with what they have available. I do think sometimes we just forget that, like, it is both, like, James White is somehow in this weird middle ground where he is both the CEO of a multi-million-dollar up-and-coming company, but he's also not Hasbro levels yet either. So he doesn't have the resources to do what they're doing, but he's still beholden to a higher standard than what we view him as sometimes, because he's just such a amicable, likable bloke, And
it's pop collar Jesus.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, you've got to remember that you need to peel back the next layer of the onion and appreciate the fact that at his core, James White just truly believes that, if you're going to go woke, you're going to go broke. Right?
It's true.
So,
yeah.
He thinks that.
I don't think that he thinks that whatsoever. Just going to put that out there.
No, kidding.
I go. Definitely tongue in cheek. Yeah, asterisk.
But I think that I'm just looking at his response here, and I think that it shows the process of this thing that, I mean, if we're talking about it, like, right-wingers kind of accurately look at this cultural issue as disingenuous. Like, corporations do not give a shit about queer people. Amazon doesn't give a shit about queer people. Like, they paint, and queer people also identify this, right? Like, they look at, say, oh, this is, queer washing or whatever, we don't need Chase Bank at Pride or whatever. And I think their thing is like, well, I hate them, so corporations should just stop pretending. It's disingenuous. But I think this is how that disingenuousness is built a little bit, where he says, in the new year, we'll be reviewing how we officially support content creators. So it's like, that just means that people who have radical opinions that are going to offend somebody either way are going to be, like, sort of pushed to the side, I think.
Maybe.
And it's like,
I don't take that. I just take it as they're going to, again, reevaluate. I think that they might instead look at...
Greg is calling James White to make sure.
I think that there might be new opportunities to look at just the entire program as a whole, right? It could just be literally an entire reevaluation of, do we do it by numbers? Do we do it by hitting certain segments? Do we do more? Do we do less? And I think that that's why he's pushing it off to the new year. I think if it was just going to be a knee jerk, we're just going to, like, hey, you can't be extremist, I think that could have been an easy Band-Aid. And the fact that he didn't, to me, I think as a greater thing, one, I agree with you. Corporations, just like as a whole, they care more about marketing than they do about the actual people. But as corporate as he is, James White is still like a person. And when I read his response, the part that resonated with me was that he said the entire vision for the game is to get people in person. That's been the emphasis. And in order to get people in person playing games, you do have to have a sincerity to the inclusivity part, right? So, like, it could be queer washing, but also I do think he wants everybody to feel like they can come and have a good time. And you could say, as a conservative person, like, I don't feel like that's the case, but that's because traditionally your ideology is one that is not inclusive for everybody else. And so due to the paradox of tolerance, like, you are the one who gets left out for everyone else to feel safe. So just stop being a dick and you won't have a problem.
Right.
But
so I guess I've got two counterpoints. And I guess
you want to be wrong twice.
I know. See, this is the thing. That's my secret, Darick. I'm very good at being wrong.
I mean, he does have the one divorce already, so he's already in for one.
I've already got that one under my belt, and let me tell you, felt great.
Same, but
and then man, I wish. Okay, it came back to me. I think as Americans, our brains are so fucked that James, as a Kiwi, is speaking what we want to hear, but it's not written out as explicitly as our American brains want it to be. So I think that may be a little bit of the disconnect, because he's basically, like you said, communicating the message that is everybody is welcome at the table to play a great game, right? That's basically what James is saying.
The baseline.
Yes.
Sure.
But because Murica and I'm a sack of shit, and most of us are sacks of shit, it's not as explicit as my sack of shit brain wants it to be. But second, and this is going to be a little more controversial,
so it turns out that Greg did not pay the bill.
MAGA.
And so because he didn't pay the bill and we use his platform, the actual provider cut us off. And I had to go in on my personal account and then pay for Greg's usage. So Greg's broke ass has now caused me to really question going woke. But
but we are people of principles, and we will continue trying to figure out
my
what
internet
is
and totally safe, because I'm on that Elon Starlink, which is obviously
I'm on the Neuralink,
the internet of free speech.
Well, funny you say that, Brynn, because at some point in time this year, Charmer and I got accused of being good people. And there
by me, probably.
there is no greater pain you can inflict on another person than to call them a good person. Because now they're beholden to the responsibility of trying to be a good person. And it's really fucking hard to just
annoying.
Yeah. And as people of principle, we have done a lot of different things, trying to help the community and such. One of the things, obviously, and still going. So if you do make a donation to a homeless shelter or children's charity, or children's hospital, I think is what Charmer specified, we will send you a scarf for a scarf promo, right? I mean, that's great.
Yeah, I just want to be clear. I opened it up to not just homeless, but to also the children's organizations, because when we were at the Calling Chicago, there were some wonderful international folks that were asking if they could do something, not a homeless shelter, because it turns out some people are from countries that don't have care of their homeless. So they were like, we don't have that like as a thing. So I opened it up, and I, much like you, I will be bringing some additional scarves with me to Prague. So if folks see me there,
I am running low, but yes, I will definitely be bringing what I have left to Prague. But one of the things was we got a incredibly heartfelt message from a listener who works for homeless shelters. That's their job. And kind of detailing that this was, one of those, I think what they said was, so thank you. It means the world to have this work uplifted by content creators I value so much. What? Weird. But basically describing, the challenges they face. And I kind of described our thought process, which is, and I know we put this out there already, but $20 to the Red Cross is going to go $18 to marketing and $2 to help somebody, where you donate $20 to a local homeless shelter and you're feeding 10 people. Like, that impact is very different. And also those impacts to your local communities are more than you can possibly imagine. I know a lot of people, we live in a oligarchical republic, and a lot of people kind of think only in terms of national scale, but the best thing you can ever do, if you really do value having an impact, your vote having an impact, is vote for your fucking PTA or vote for your city council. Those are the people that, one, your vote really does matter.
You got to vote for those.
Yeah. And two, those are the people that have the most impact on your day-to-day life, whether you know it or not. So it's that same sort of thing where local means more when it comes to singular impact on things. And that's kind of why I was like, you know what, Charmer brought it up. He's like, hey, what if we just did scarves for a scarf? You donate a scarf to a homeless shelter and we send you one of these. I'm like, donation to homeless shelter, sold. You had me at donation to homeless. And I know for Charmer, obviously he's talked quite candidly about being homeless in the past as a child and things like that. So it kind of hits home for him too. But I wouldn't say, the preface of all this is that I don't think that we're good people for this. I just think that we have an opportunity to take something we were given for free and do something with it that makes a difference. Does that make us good?
Not bad.
I would have normally said no, but compared to what I've seen some other folks do in the space, maybe.
Well, I was going to say that before. Like, I feel like it's almost insane that anything that they said on that YouTube would be considered political. Like, it's literally just like, are some people not people? Or
which, holy shit, and obviously,
and I feel like that's got to be like, that's a pretty obvious line in the sand for anybody.
Yeah, it really should be at the very, very least. But we've definitely had our ups and downs this year. I mean, it started really rough with the situation in Tokyo. And
it started rough before that for me.
Well, that's true. And because you had that entire LA thing. And it's been a lot to try to work through over the course of the year, but I honestly think that we're a bit better for it. There's no doubt in my mind, and I hope there's no doubt in Charmer's mind, who the person that we are working with every week, who they are, what they stand for, and what they're about, and being comfortable with, the first hour and 45 minutes of the show, or whatever the fuck it was just a nonsense bullshit session, which is perfect. That is exactly what I want. And, we've gotten a little deeper in the last, few, like 20 minutes or whatever it's been. But I think that that's important to talk about because one, like it or not, we don't have any control over this, but Charmer and I are straight white men in America, and we're both, fuck off. We're both middle class and, pseudo, we have an amount of affluence, I guess. And that being a thing where, it's important to both of us to try to, and I'm speaking for Charmer, sadly, but I don't think you would disagree, but it's important for us to try to understand where other people come from. We have no bones about having queer people of color, of any walk of life or anything else on the show, because they're friends, they're people. Like, people are just people. And that's how you should treat them.
Look, I was actually thinking about this. I didn't post my flesh and blood year in review, but I was like doing some reflecting, and when I was going through some of the stuff in my office, trying to clean things up here and there, I came across. Well, I've been trying to do it here during the holidays. It's going slower than I'd like, but I am making progress. But I came across something, and then it reminded me of the New Jersey event where I got to cast with Sam and Rhea, and the thing that I came across, I realized is maybe one of my favorite things that I own for Flesh and Blood, and I felt very honored that Elaine entrusted me with it. Hold on.
Oh man, he's gonna go get a thing.
Is it big?
Well, considering what I saw behind that robe, I'm gonna say yes.
No, the thing he's getting.
Oh, that I guess I don't know.
Oh.
It was this. All right.
He's holding a circle.
For the audio listeners, this is the Rainbow Pitch League pin.
I don't have one.
It might not seem like that big of a deal, but she gave this to me to wear on the broadcast. So I wore it, I pinned it to my suit jacket, and I wore it throughout. And I was just kind of reflecting that, I didn't think anything really of it at the time, but for her to, with everything that's happened this year, for her to entrust me, just like straight white middle-aged dude with this, and like that, she's okay with me, embodying. And even as we think about like with the community stuff, like we've been joking around about it, right? But like one of the, corporate, if you will, bits about the entire exchange with the community member and James and LSS is that they had Flesh and Blood branding all over the video, right? So like there is a real thing with like attaching your branding, if you will, to people and their views. And so like the fact that she said, hey, I trust you enough to wear this, and not even just trust, but like wanted me to, openly wanted. I was just reflecting. I was like, that was a much bigger deal, and I should have properly thanked her in the moment. But it was a much bigger deal than I think I realized at the time. So if you're listening, Elaine, thank you.
Brynn is smoldering, so you got to watch out. That was also a thing that happened this year, which was fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah,
but
I'm an emoji.
You are an emoji, but no, and that means a lot even to me because to a degree we are reflective of each other. Because I'm associated with you. I'm pretty sure you're associated with me. Now people know Brynn's our friend.
If people remember.
There is that. If people remember who you are.
Yeah.
But okay, I mean, you do have the notch in the belt of somebody walking up to you with a picture on their phone of you and saying, have you seen this guy? He's giving away scarf for scarf promos.
That's so insane. I don't get it.
that was the in real life version of what happened to me, where back when I was covering Legends of Runeterra, somebody was watching on YouTube the VOD of one of the tournaments, like the big Riot Legends of Runeterra tournaments, right? So they watched me casting that, and then YouTube recommended my YouTube channel to them because I covered Legends of Runeterra. And so somebody posted on that, hey, you look like the guy from the tournament, like that was doing the broadcasting. And I'd reply, because it is me. And then they replied back, oh, well, I was just watching the thing and I thought you looked alike. And I'm like, yeah, because it was the same person.
Brynn still hasn't made us a new outro yet. She's been sitting here this whole time and hasn't done it.
I did not get a Venmo.
What?
I didn't get a Venmo. I was promised $17.
Okay, hold on. What's your Venmo? I will
Venmo
you $17 right now. Zero qualms.
No, if you want an intro, I'll have to do it right.
Oh, okay. Because
for Christmas.
We're in our new season. Because we're past our 3 year. We're in year 4 now. We probably need to change it up a little bit again.
We're in syndication.
If only. Fuck, we'd actually be getting paid for this.
Then you get money.
Yeah, right. No, it's it's so one of the other things was, so I got one of our patrons actually, Sergeant Swanson, had reached out earlier in the year talking about how he wanted to do something for us because apparently we're the highlight of his week at times. And I know, and I've talked about this a lot of times where that's the kind of shit that keeps me going too. Is I'm doing something and it's giving somebody that serotonin hit or the ability to keep going or whatever it is, and that means a lot too. So it makes it hard to quit doing this shit, and I never have. Although some of us can just be Brynn and record an episode of a podcast like once every 8 months and still say we have a podcast.
After dark counts.
Oh, it does. Okay. Well, then you get one monthly. But yeah, tell Chris hi for us. But
I will.
The point, so he sent us a message to go with everything, which was really cool of him. Let me see if I can find it here because I have so many messages in Discord. It's kind of creepy.
So many fan mails.
I remember the one time my computer audio was accidentally hooked up instead of just my mic, and you heard my Discord notifications, and you were like, "How do you exist?
What the fuck? How do you exist?
How is this happening?"
Because if it's me, it's just going to keep going. There's one I forgot. I had reloaded Discord for some reason, and I forgot to redo the settings, and it was on a Tuesday night or sorry, a Monday night. So going into Tuesday, so new episode had gone up. and I'm lying in bed, and all I hear is Discord notifications.
Oh, God.
Over and over. And my wife turns to me and goes, will you shut that the fuck off, or I'm going to cut the cords? And I was just like, noted. I will go take care of that now. But she knew she wouldn't have cut the cords. My ex-wife would have, but she wouldn't have. There's a story about that too. However,
After Dark.
That'll be an After Dark. But so he said, for the pod, I've always loved the energy of the show and how chill you both are with the show. It's like listening to my friends. We lost Brynn. It's like listening to my friends and I talk about card games. You guys always bring up that you give your time and energy for the pod for us fappers to listen to every week. Okay, we really need to work on that name. It's been 3 years. Stop. Quit being fappers.
How could they stop?
Like, get it in some other way. It's an addictive thing, but most of them have to have gone blind by now. So he said, so I've been playing TCGs for a long time. I've been through so many games. They've even played dead ones well past their prime. You know how some people have a trade binder that tell you the first page is off limits because they use it to display some of their favorite cards. I have done that. I started doing it for a binder, and the stuff I left for you two is my gift to you guys for keeping the pod going. It's my way of giving back. It's not much, but maybe it'll bring you joy. Maybe this might even get you guys to a Cabinet of Curiosities binder as well, with some of your favorite cards and whatnot. So what he gave us were these little frames, which are kind of cool. And then they have like different cards in them. So this is an old school Marvel Series Gambit.
Yeah.
And then a metal Sinister and a metal Gambit. And there's some other cards also like in behind there. And like, I love the Andy Kubert shit, Sinister. It's beautiful. And then for you, Charmer, we have Colossus, Juggernaut, and Iron Man.
Is that a card game, or is it just collectibles?
So no, these were metal, and like the Juggernaut is Flare. Like it's the Solar Flare Juggernaut from the Flare series.
Yeah,
which are immaculate. But no, these are really, really like old trading cards from when we would have been kids.
I was gonna say 90s.
Yeah, like the gold Gambit would have been from series 2 or 3, so 92, 93.
Yeah. I was gonna guess 94, but you might be right. It might be before that.
Yeah. So
because what got me first into collecting those were the Marvel Masterpieces, but then I
started before that. I started with the series with this Gambit is actually where I started. And I had the entire series, and they all got destroyed in a flood in my mom's basement. But oh well, because I had sets of them, and they used to like there's that set, and then there was another set that was the next year. Maybe it might have been Masterpiece. No, it wasn't. But there was another set that it formed every 9 page, like in 3x3 page, formed a single image because it was all team structured. And it was really cool because they were all done as single images. And that was my favorite set. But he goes on to ask, my question is for both Logan and Charmer, and I really want Brynn on this too, because I think it's actually interesting. What are your treasures or cabinet of curiosities? I want to start.
Was that why you're saying drawer?
Yeah. Yes. But this is where I'm interested, because Brynn might be the single weirdest person I know that thinks they're normal. And
okay.
And so I want to know what are the curiosities? What are your treasures?
So you're saying because of how weird I am,
wonder. No, it's not that you're weird. It's that you're weird and you think you're the most normal person you know.
I am so normal.
All right, go for it.
What is my cabinet of not card game related?
It can be anything.
I have a drawer full of.
No, what are your treasures? Like, what are the things that like you would consider your treasures?
My treasures.
Your precious.
My precious. I don't. I am very sentimental, and I don't scrapbook, but I have a box of some very specific things that are not valuable at all, like pieces of paper, ticket stubs, that are just like evoke a lot of memories, very specific memories. So I would say that is the most like thing I keep, you know, like I have collections. I have very bad collector habits.
We all do. That's not just a you thing.
I mean, like I have a lot of comics and books, and you can't see it from here, but like these are all VHS tapes.
Oh my God. It's so beautiful.
I have a lot of VHS tapes. So I have stuff that I like get into. But I think the things that I would like consider very close, very, very cabinet of curio type thing are like really personal things.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I have anything just like really rare and strange. I have basketball cards from like 1993 that I collected when I was a kid. And those are...
Do you have the Mark Jackson with the Melendez twins? Melendez brothers in the background?
Oh, I don't remember if I have that card.
Because that looks really cool.
I remember it like went viral or something.
Yeah, it's really weird.
But I don't know if I have the card.
Yep, and then there's the Billy Ripken card, baseball card from the 80s, where the knob of his bat, like he had written "fuckface" on the knob of his bat, and they didn't. They didn't notice it in the photo, and they put it on the baseball card. And
yes, and then they edited it out later.
Later printings they edited it out, but in the original printing, you just have "fuckface" baseball cards, and those are great. Darick, what about you?
I think if I was going to put one together, just because I'm a sucker for theming, for me, it would probably be a bunch of items that I got that are from various games that I have covered, but the items I got were from specific events. And like coincidentally, because they were from specific events, they also tend to be like kind of rare, not necessarily sought after. It would just be one of those things where like it'd be hard to recreate it. But just like as examples, I have like from the Elder Scrolls Legends, I have physical cards. So it was a digital card game. But at certain events, Bethesda had like these little promo packs with physical cards. And so like when I went to QuakeCon, because, you know, I was doing the coverage and whatever, I have those, right? Similarly, I did coverage for Artifact at PAX West. If you did special press demos, I don't know if I've ever told you the story, Logan, but I lied my way into the beta for Artifact because I lied and told them I was press, and I actually got
that
to...
That does work at times.
I had me and my other podcast partner who covered the Elder Scrolls Legends with me, Justin.
Is this one where you guys got pulled off the air for doing a hanging joke?
Well, same guy.
All right.
But anyway, we were at PAX West and we were just like waiting in line because we wanted to demo the game, right? And the line, because again, back then, like the hype was out of this world, right? The line was like hours and hours and hours. And we were just like,
for Artifact?
Yeah.
For Artifact. Believe
definitely.
it or not, like it was a big deal at the time.
It was.
And there was just no way we were going to be able to like do all the stuff we needed to do and get through this line. And he's like, well, at least we tried. And he goes to walk away. And I said, Justin, you give up too easy. Like, you know, I had to teach him about the whole like carrying a ladder phenomenon.
I love that.
But here's the thing, instead of a ladder, what we had was, because we were there for a Bethesda panel, so we were both dressed in like suit jackets, and I just happened to have my DSLR camera on me. So I walked to where people were exiting. So instead of in line, going to where they were exiting line, right? And I walked up to one of the employees and I said, hey, me and my partner here, we're here for a panel and we're going to have to do that panel. So there's no way we can wait in the line. Can we schedule a time to do this? And he said, let me go talk to somebody. So he went and then he brings back over Bruno, who, if you know anything about Dota and Valve and whatever, big dude in the scene, right? Like I was like, oh shit, like he brought me the dude, right? Bruno's like, who are you? And I kind of explained who we are. And he said, yeah, we can get, we can get you. We can get you in, right? Just come back at this time. So we go back, we do our panel, then we come back. And so we go back to the guy, he checks our name off the clipboard, he walks us in, and then he sees me with my camera and, we're in suit jackets, and he goes, are you press? And I looked at Justin before he could answer because he's just way too honest. And I said, yes. And he went, oh, I'll get one of the devs to sit with you. And so we got a personalized demo and walkthrough. We got oh my God. I still have the business cards that they gave us. That's how we got in the beta.
They didn't ask you the outlet?
Nope.
Why would
None
they?
of that. So,
what would you have said?
Wired.
I don't know. I'm glad I didn't have to think about it. But as a result of getting this special press demo, one of the things I have, so again, talking about bringing this back to the Cabinet of Curiosities thing, framed over here, I have 2 large art prints. Like one is of Axe, who is like a big deal in the game, right? Axe coined the whole thing. And they're signed by the artists. So we were given them for doing the press demo stuff. So like I have those framed. I have sunglasses I got from the last TwitchCon that ran before everything shut down for the pandemic, because I'm a Twitch partner. So they gave us some goodies, and I just really like the sunglasses. So like those would be part of it because it was only for that event. I have this really cool framed like shadow box thing that's actually the art of the Vi card from the MTG Secret Lair. But I got that as part of because again, I covered Legends of Runeterra. As part of that, I similarly have stuff from when Sophie and I went to the red carpet for Arcane Season 1. So like those little keepsakes would go in it. We got to do this really cool thing through a company called Secret Cinema, where we went and you did like an hour of role playing in a thing that looked like Piltover and looked like Zaun. So I have like tokens that I just took from there.
Well, because why wouldn't you?
Because why wouldn't I? Like you were supposed to turn them in for food and drink, and I was like, why would I do that when I can keep the tokens? Like I can get drinks anywhere. I can only get these tokens here, so I kept those. So those would be part of it. Just stuff like that, like from really unique things that came specifically from my love from games, but also, I've told the story several times in the past, but like I fell into all of this content creation stuff by accident. So for me, all of those things are something significant because I never thought I would do it. Right. Every time I get one of these things, it's like a new moment for me. I even have like, I travel with it sometimes. I know you've seen it, but I have a backpack, for example. So when I was doing the Wild Rift Summoner series, they sent the talent these really cool things because the live event that was supposed to take place, but then of course pandemic hit, it was supposed to be the championship in like Denver. So they had these like mountains themed goodie bags for everybody, and then they just had to mail them to me. But like it says Wild Rift Summoner series on it, but it's a really nice Ridgeback backpack, and I use it for travel.
Yeah, I've seen it before.
So yeah, just stuff like that. That would be my thing. It would be all my little like things that I've picked up for all of the events that I've attended because of my love of games and like all of these things, right? I love those things because they remind me of my time there with the people, right? It's not just like, oh, I got to do this cool event. When I think of, any of those events where I was doing something, I'm immediately thinking of like the good times I had, the funny stories. I think of the second QuakeCon where like I'm crying on the floor because I convinced this drunk old cougar that my buddy showed up. He's drunk, so he's just agreeing to everything. And this drunk old cougar had been hitting on me for a long time, so much so that this dude who I want to say he's from Ireland. I know he's from the UK. He also does casting now too, but he was there as a competitor. He kept saying like, dude, like, do you want me to get her to leave you alone? And I was like, no, dude, I got this. Like, it's not a big deal. It's harmless. But then when Griffin showed up and I could tell he was drunk, I told the old lady that my buddy Griffin was an extra in the like background dance sequences for Magic Mike. And so she bought it, and he was drunk enough to try dancing. So he started dancing in the hotel lobby against the wall like Magic Mike. And I'm like, I have a GIF of me because somebody had it on video and then they turned it into a GIF of me just like crying on the floor laughing because my buddy Griffin was dancing against the wall. Right. So stuff like that, right? Like when I think of the events, it's the times and whatever. And you probably would figure that out with the way you hear like Logan and I talk about our Flesh and Blood events and all the things that we go to, like those are the real memories. Like the game is fun and I enjoy it, but it's also the excuse
the shit we get up to
spend the time with people.
Yeah. And that's really the thing. And, for me, obviously, if I was going to pick one treasure, some recency bias, but it's probably my copy of Giant Size 1. But, like also just, my Dreamcast is also one of my like favorite things that I own, because I own a Dreamcast. I own Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I own.
Me too.
I never owned a Dreamcast.
Soul Calibur.
What I owned? I owned a Sega Saturn.
Saturn's great. Love Saturn. But I own a copy of... Do you have Seaman? Because I have Seaman.
I don't have Seaman. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
You want to know a weird
Skies
thing
of Arcadia.
I have?
Yeah.
I have a original press release with like the script and like all the critics reviews, like this big packet and like promo pictures of the movie That Thing You Do.
Yeah, with Colin Hanks. Yeah.
Tom Hanks, yeah.
Well, and also Colin Hanks.
He's in it, yeah.
Yeah.
Great, one of my favorite movies. And someone got that for me in an auction once as a gift.
That's interesting.
Incredibly thoughtful gift.
Yeah. I would say that like the thing that's the most cabinet of curiosities thing, and it's at my mom's house. It's at my mom's house. Is so little known fact. I used to be a journalism major. That's what I started as.
Fun.
And as a journalism major in Iowa, nothing happens until it's the caucuses, and then everything happens. And I was one of 5 out of the journalism department to get picked to intern for the caucuses. So I was interning for NBC National News. And the thing that I kept were the press passes, because I did not understand when I took that job the level of freedom just having this laminated pass on a lanyard gives you. Because I could go fucking anywhere. And no one...
White House, or where?
Anywhere. So because that would have been Bush v. Gore. But this is the caucuses, so we're not there yet. And I met all of the candidates at hotels or at campaign events backstage by just walking, going press. And
press.
Right.
People love press.
And even because I had to cover on caucus night, I had to cover the Democratic side of it in the Hotel Fort Des Moines. And they had this one ballroom for all the big donors, and they had this other ballroom where all the candidates were. And they were kind of filtered back and forth. Well, people keep trying to walk into the ballroom that they're not supposed to go in, and they're in, $3,000 suits and highfalutin bullshit. And here I am in a fucking cargo shorts in January with a
You're a shorts and winter guy.
Fuck yeah, I am.
Proper Midwesterner.
And then with like, a just a regular coat on and giant bushy beard. And I'm just walking past them and going, yeah, press, whatever. And just walking straight past them. And they'll be like looking offended that this scruff is getting in the good side of the show. I'm like, yeah, get fucked, nerds. And that was, that was one of the most fun nights I've ever had in my life. And because I remember as the returns coming in, standing next to Bill Bradley and kind of looking and going, I think you lost this one, buddy. And he was just like, yeah, well, you can't fix stupid. And I'm just like, woof. And talking to Al Gore was like talking to fucking rice paper. And
sure, that makes sense.
The best thing I ever did, and I never got credit for this, it still bothers me to this day, and I wonder if it's still out there. Now I got to look it up. So covering, it might be still out there. Nope, it's still out there. Hot damn. So there is a video of Alan Keyes crowd surfing outside of the Valor Ballroom in Des Moines, Iowa. And I was part of the crew taking that video. Because
so you were press.
yeah. Oh yeah. Because what happened was they all kept trying to get him. Like the crowd kept trying, because it was Michael Moore, and the crowd kept trying to get Alan Keyes to crowd surf, and he wouldn't fucking do it. He was sending his security and whatever. And I'm randomly standing next to Michael Moore at this point, and he's like, "Yeah, turn on the camera because he's gonna do this shit." I'm like, "All right, fine." I talked to the guys. I'm like, "Yeah, fucking roll it, I guess." And sure enough, he just crowd surfs. And I'm like, this is so fucking weird right about now. And Michael Moore.
Is there music?
Oh yeah, it's Rage Against the Machine playing. And
Alan Keyes is there?
Oh yeah, it's great. And because it's Michael Moore's touring thing that had a stage and he'd park outside of events. And it was super fucked up. And I met GW at the Sheridan on University Avenue in West Des Moines. I probably should have kicked him in the balls, but I didn't.
Should have thrown a shoe at him. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, so that was the beginning of me having met every single living president up until Trump.
Every single living president.
Mm-hmm. And the only one that I hadn't was Trump. So
what about Jimmy Carter?
Yeah. He was in Iowa for the caucuses. So
starting when?
So at the time, the living presidents would have been Carter and Reagan. And so basically post Nixon. So any president that was president when I was alive. So starting with Carter, and then Carter, Reagan, H.W., Clinton, W. And then I'd met Obama as well. So not there. I met Obama in a fucking tiny ass conference room in Bloomington, Illinois with 5 other people in 2004. So that dude can talk.
That's his whole thing.
That's his trick, but he's good at it.
Pro talker.
And so, yeah, that was, I've never met Donald Trump. I have no desire to, but
you should though.
But yeah, those press passes are like the reminder of Colette's being a dick, are just the reminders of like a simpler time where, a precocious little idiot just had a pass that like unlocked the keys to the keys to the kingdom, right? They just unlocked Valhalla at any time they wanted them to. And I have stories.
You should go to Bohemian Grove.
I have no idea what that means.
You don't know what Bohemian Grove is?
No.
I'll tell you after dark.
What? Okay.
I can't wait for After Dark now.
I guess I got into something and I didn't know it.
Some listeners know what that is.
Not me.
Darick knows what it is.
We have a couple of quick listener questions. We're going to hit these because we're getting a little on the late side especially for you children.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. First one's from One Hit Wookie, which I still absolutely love that name. With Las Vegas confirmed from US Nats, do you reckon this confirms an East Coast Worlds? Also, a space has appeared on the Fab site for the next Armory deck. Who do you think it will be, and how many of the decks have you bought? Where are they to collect or to have played them? So yes, I do believe it'll be on the East Coast. I am as close to 100% certain as I can without knowing the exact location. Then the Armory deck is a weird one because I think it's probably Adult Blaze is my guess.
Why? Where's that rumor coming from?
The Adult Blaze one?
Yeah. Just because it would be cool.
I think it's because they know they probably need to put another wizard into the rotation right now with Kano being at its low point.
They just printed 2 in Rosetta.
Yeah, they're not the same.
But so what? Like you know what else we need? We need Chain.
We do need Chain.
I've heard people describe
Eclipse has been unplayable in Classic Constructed for a long time.
Yeah.
So if we get an Adult Blaze before we get a new Chain, like Jarl opened up the floodgates, right? So now I'm fully on the give me an Adult Chain. I would even accept an Adult Terra before I would an Adult Blaze.
All right.
The only reason I don't think it'll be Terra is because we just got Jarl, but
I have and I have purchased all of the Armory decks at this point.
Even Bolton?
Yes. And it's right here, I think. Yeah. See, Fulton. Ta-da!
I think I didn't buy Dio because I hate mech.
The only one that I have opened is Azalea. Because there was a classic constructed armory. I didn't have anything built, and so I grabbed the first armory deck that I was on my shelf, and it happened to be Azalea. That is trash, by the way.
Just that deck with the stone.
Oh God,
rains?
it's awful.
You don't like stone rain?
I don't like aim counter Azalea. It's not very good. But the rest of them, I bought all of them with the intent of playing them, but I just haven't. So it's not that I bought them to collect. I bought them with the interest of playing them.
Yeah, I bought them because I want the cards, and I want
Right.
if I want to play the deck, I'm going to want the cards, and then I won't want to spend even more money when
secondary
they're all $20.
Market prices.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, it's stupid. So I've bought all of them except for maybe I did buy Dio actually. Maybe someone else bought it, but I definitely play a lot of Jarl.
Yeah, I got Jarl. And also unopened,
I opened mine because I needed it for Chicago.
Mm-hmm. For Starvo?
Yep. Yeah, for Borvo. Well, Starvo, not Borvo. But yeah, that's the only one that I have opened as Azalea, and it was the worst idea that I'd ever had.
I would like there to be an Adult Blaze, by the way. I think someone I've heard her described as Fix Kano.
That's kind of true.
It's like the ceiling is just a little less
lower.
Insane. And I think that would be really nice.
I think that we will get an Adult Blaze at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I just would personally really like to see a chain come back, a new chain, something. I miss playing Eclipse. I want an excuse.
Eclipse is so much fun. Ursa is so much fun to put in play. Last listener question from Poxanus. How you doing? How y'all doing? And
pretty good.
Yeah, it's again a holiday season. Work has been rough. Really, like my entire existence for the last, for the month of from Chicago on was I just need to make it until I get on the plane to Prague. If I can make it to then, I'll be okay. But work has been very difficult. Especially with people that I need at work to do my job are like, yeah, I'm just going to take 2 weeks off for the holidays. Cool.
You should be allowed to do that, but damn it.
Yeah, you're totally allowed to do that. However, and when you took this time off, you planned all this stuff out, you had no way of knowing that would absolutely fuck me. But at the same time, it does not make my life any easier. And
it's like 2 more weeks.
1 more week, but I'm going to be an asshole, I think, and take Thursday and Friday off right when they start coming back. So it's like, yeah, deuces, deal with this shit.
Payback's a bitch.
Payback's a bitch. And but most of them have where I work, you get once you hit 10 years of service, you get an insane vacation pool. Like it goes to a dumb amount, and nice. I get that starting January 1st. So I have off time I can take.
Prague time.
Yeah. Oh no, Prague. Yeah, that's an easy one. London, I think I'm going to take 2 weeks and just fuck around in Europe for an extra week or two. And
let
still
me know
have
if you
plenty.
Do. I'm still up in the air because she hasn't given me a hard confirmation yet, but my plan continues to be trying to get Sophie to go with me and us take a week because I want to do the event and then I want to take a train to Edinburgh so that she'll feel comfortable
moving
with
to Scotland.
Yep.
Sounds fun.
But Darick, same question. How y'all doing?
Oh, well, I guess there's only way to put it.
I'm in danger.
Yeah. Well, this is not a live stream, so you're safe there.
Yeah.
At any rate, this is the problem with having real, with jobs with high stakes is sometimes you just can't control something that is going to crush you. And you just kind of have to say, all right, I guess hit me with it. or they don't allow you to collect a paycheck anymore, which also bad.
Right. You just have to power through.
Mm-hmm. Brynn, your turn.
I've also been pretty busy, overwhelmed with work. But the holiday, I had a nice time for the holidays. I'm going to a nice New Year's party with all my friends. So I'm looking forward to that. I was having, if you're interested, I was having a bit of a couple of anxious days right after, like around before and after the holiday. Mm-hmm. Just being like, oh no, I have to do a bunch of stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to relax.
It'll be there for me when I done relaxing.
It's only a couple more days into the new year. And so I'll take some more time off. I went to see The Vessel. So that was fun.
What's The Vessel?
The Vessel is a horrible, like corporate art thing in Manhattan that people have thrown themselves off 4 times in the 4 years it has existed. It's a big honeycomb shaped structure that is like vibrating with dark magic. It's amazing. I'm kind of obsessed with it, and I've never actually been able to go up in it because they keep closing it when someone commits suicide on it. So I went up there finally.
Okay, yeah, I'm Googling this. Fuck it.
This looks cool. Exactly like the sort of thing that would trigger my Call of the Void.
Doesn't it look like something that would be on a Flesh and Blood card?
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's called The Vessel. It's in Hudson Yards.
It's in Hudson Yards,
and it's like it's a tourist destination, but it's like 20 flights of stairs on those little like things. And
it's reopened with safety netting after 4 suicides forced its closure.
It's like working at Foxconn. Mm-hmm. Anybody gets that, A+, but
I remember. So yeah, I went and finally got to go up to the top. Did my little climb all the way to the top.
I'm glad that you're with us today then.
I'm not suicidal. I would never kill myself. And if I ever do, and there was a note, it wasn't written by me. Just so you know, I'm saying that in public.
There is a part of me, I already have certain tendencies. I got to be honest, there's a part of me that wants to test how safe the safety netting really is.
It's pretty intense.
It looks to be, yeah.
I tried, I was shaking it.
Like the ultimate warrior shaking the ropes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was rattling my cages. But you can't get out. You can't. I mean, if you brought a knife, but you also have to fucking go through security, like airport, like metals detector, and they charge you for it to walk up these.
They charge you for it.
It costs $10 unless it's Thursday, and then if you're a New Yorker, you get to go for free. But you still have to wait in the line. No, I went on a Friday. I didn't know that until I got there. And I was like, that's perfect. Okay, $10 to walk up this fucking dark.
They have a Liberty elevator. You don't have to walk up it. You can just take the Liberty elevator.
No. It was a part of it for me. I wanted to get a little exercise.
You wanted the suffering? Okay.
Yeah, I wanted the suffering. It's like when the Catholics crawl on their knees over glass.
Yeah, prostrating yourself to the dark energy of the vessel.
I'm a Marina Abramovic fan.
Jesus Christ.
Really, though, I am. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And then seeing Muppets was fun. Just enjoying the holiday season.
Yeah, you also strike me as a Lars Van Trier person. But let's not get into that. Let's just thank some patrons. What do you say?
Thanks, patrons.
Well, you actually read them off. You know how this goes. You've listened to the show, I think.
No, she hasn't.
Oh, that's right. She's never listened to the show.
I listen to it every week.
Oh, she's one of the. She's one of the few, but it's usually about 1,000 combined listens and views. So, I guess it's not that few.
It's a good cohort.
It's a good cohort. I hate that term, by the way. I hear it way too much, and it drives me fucking nuts.
Oh, is that an agile term?
Oh, sure is.
It's also sometimes what they'll use to, if you do any sort of professional development, you get broken into cohorts. God. Yeah.
We should learn a lot more and just like talk about Flesh and Blood with all the jargon.
I don't
annoy Logan.
Though. Like that's why.
I would bleed out on the fucking convention floor.
It sounds fun. All right, who are your patrons?
So our associate producers are Andy, Sindra, Jacob, and the Salty Sea Cat. Our executive producers on up. We have Blazestorm, who's a value member of the Patreon. Would you like to do the next one, Brynn?
Ooh, me?
Yeah, you get to do it.
Lance, good thrust.
There we go. She has thrusted. She hath thrusted. Matt Two Tokes, Micaiah, Poxanus, Sergeant Isbjorn, which I think is still my favorite. Trevor Baker, still known by that one. Philip, Rich, Sergeant Swanson, and Matt, who is angling for that shot on the show.
Oh yeah, that.
I know who it is, and
are they cool?
Oh yeah, I know, great. But
okay, great.
That's gonna get fine. It's gonna be fucking wild. So, if you'd like to become a member of the Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/fleshandpod. Link is in the show notes. If you want to hear more nonsense like this, you go to any paid tier and you can come to our FAP After Darks, which are like this but more fucked up.
Yeah, we don't say on After Dark, which we've said like 6 times. We just start talking about it.
We just do the thing. It's yeah, I know a lot about these people that I probably shouldn't, and it's fine. And but you should do that if this type of thing interests you. If you need to contact the show, send us an email at fleshandpod@gmail.com or just search Flesh and Pod on BlueSky. Pretty easy to find. The best thing to do is click on the link in the show notes that has Discord by it and then join it, because that's where we all are. And we talk a lot of shit about a lot of things, and it can get rough. Oh yeah, like Big Lou just has a good one in there now in the general nonsense, which is showing a meme of Macho Man after WrestleMania, and just says, "Ever get in an argument with your other half and it looks more like a wrestling promo?" As a matter of fact, I have. Brynn, where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me. You know what? Just listen to my band.
Yeah, no, my band is
called Stay Inside. Go listen to that.
Yeah, I will advocate for Stay Inside. It's a really good listen. The album came out this year, right?
Yeah, February.
Yeah, it was in February, and it has been I've never seen a bad review of your album, and I have hunted.
People like it.
And they do. There's a lot of bangers on there. And even like the little slow jam melodies are still like a good listen. So
thank you so much.
But you don't tour in Iowa, so I shouldn't give you the time of day anymore.
We will try.
I don't believe you, and that's fine. Darick, where can they find you?
The Discord is the best place to find me.
And when's that rope coming off?
After
dark.
Fair enough.
And BlueSky, charmer.com, Twitch, I'm just Charmer.
That's keep Charm in mind 3R because numbers and names.
Yeah, it's Charm 3R because I'm a winner and numbers edgy. And names wins games. Yeah. No, I was like Arachne slipped through the cracks before Arachne. Like they modeled his naming structure after me.
Because you're elite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's our show for this week. Thanks for hanging out with us. Have a happy new year, everybody. Hopefully 25 treats you better than 24. I turned 45 in 25. I don't know about this.
Very nice.
I've received many comments on BlueSky today that everybody thought that I was in my mid 30s, and I'm like, oh, you sweet summer children. No, I am not. But yeah, it'll be. I think we're in for a good year. We're going to have a great start to the year with Prague into Memphis into London. So we'll have a lot of fun with all of that. But otherwise, stay safe. Have a good new year, and we'll talk to you on the other side. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.